And we're live. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back. Welcome back to another live stream of simply just watching content made by other content creators. It is an amazing experience. And who knows, this live stream might change the world. Might, okay? Might. That is a keyword there, might. And as always, while I'm live streaming, I'm also in Second Life. There you go. Although you don't see it, it's running in the background, and you will hear it. You can hear the ka-ching. You will hear the ka-ching sound of earning Linden dollars in Second Life. There it is again. Ka-ching ching, ka-ching ka-ching. It's like coins dropping from somewhere, and no one knows where. Anyway, let's see what we have here. And look at that, we have an Asman Ball video titled They Want Me to Stop Existing. Why? Maybe you said something they didn't like. And over here we have Rev says, Desu, game over. Twitch ambassadors' ego initiates their downfall. Okay, this is more interesting. So I'm going to watch it. It's 22 minutes.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So today we're going to be dealing
Let's go, Rev.
with a situation involving this individual named Evil Toaster, who is a
Well,
YouTuber, frog VTuber, and
if there's a problem with Evil Toaster, it's not surprising because
details of everything.
his name is Evil.
Take credit for a very disliked Twitch feature that has been recently released. He gets angry at the criticism, kind of melts down, and then people start digging into their account, and eventually a 57-page Google Doc is dropped on them. Somewhere in there, there's a lesson, I'm sure. But let's begin with this part right here. So, innocently enough, this begins with a new Twitch feature that was released, and it's called the knock feature. Basically, what this does is allows people to make like a one-sided invitation to other people's streams. They can pull up to your stream and use the knock feature to say, so-and-so wants to collaborate with you, and it pops up in your chat. Only the streamer can see it, but you see that someone is requesting to collaborate with you. Now, this has been heavily disliked. People don't like this. Number one, it's not necessary. Like, if you want to collaborate with someone, figure that out on your own terms and on other platforms before stream. And also, it puts people in a very awkward position. It seems like this is a very invasive practice where people...
You think, Rev, you think it's invasive?
You got to make a decision on the spot. And some people would look at that and say, declining that might...
Maybe Twitch should add a way to automatically ignore, an auto-ignore feature.
Is not,
or maybe you can opt out.
Twitch has this feature now, and also none of the filters are automatically applied. You have to do it yourself. So literally anyone can send you this knock request and try to collaborate with you, which can obviously be misused. It's invasive, and you can harass and annoy people with this. And if you apply the correct filters, only people you add as a favorite can do that. But
imagine this, having
yourself. Now,
if you have millions of followers in Twitch,
basically,
and all of them wants to
coming to life.
Collaborate with you.
Now when people ask
Imagine how many knocks you'll get
I told
per
them
day.
And they actually hecking did it. They actually hecking did it, Reddit. Did you hear that? But anyways, eventually in the replies, Toaster would tag Zentreya from VShojo, and these two seem to have some sort of a friendship. They collaborate a lot together, especially in recent months. And little did Toaster know that before they tagged Zentreya, Zentreya had already responded to the main post promoting this feature, saying this: I think this is a very intrusive and dangerous thing to add onto the platform, and it can be used maliciously. I think I see what the idea was, but this was poorly and hastily executed. I would 100% say to remove this and go back before it's misused inappropriately or worse. So clearly, big disconnect right there.
Blame the CEO. Okay, the CEO approved it.
By everyone, even impartial people reporting on this, saying this is a...
Don't tell me the Twitch-friendly CEO didn't know.
But everyone's dunking on him.
I'm pretty sure he knew, and he found it interesting, and maybe approved it
A lot of people have been
without thinking of the repercussions or the negative side effects.
But if it wasn't obviously clear, me telling Twitch, please
maybe this is now my chance to collaborate with Ashman Bald. Maybe I should go to Ashman Bald's channel and hit that knock button. Who's there? No one knows.
For anything, you actually need to grow on Twitch because you have no idea what you're doing. Collab content is proven to be extremely effective, but you refuse to engage in it because you're terrified of people. Yeah, not a very good look for a Twitch ambassador to be saying these things. I mean, on the one hand, they're right. Collabing can help boost your career and your growth, but that should be your decision. You should be able to decide if you want to collaborate with someone. It should be like
remember, Rev, Twitch is a woke platform, and we all know that wokeness
and this seems to be a reflection of
doesn't give you any right
to understand that, but they
to choice. Basically, it's either their way or the highway.
what they're doing, but I know what I'm doing. And they would go live.
Unless, of course, there is a big blowback, and then
Honestly, mocking the situation.
probably they would, pull it back.
VTubing scene. This was a hated feature in the VTubing scene, and clearly they didn't read the room and they didn't like the results that came from the criticism. But they would also have a lot of tweets dug up from their account that kind of explain why they would like this feature so much. So back in July of this year, they said this, referring to the online status on Discord. One time I actually checked, and no joke, less than 5% of VTubers in my friends list have online enabled. The status means nothing to me anymore. Crazy thing is I still don't get DM'd ever, even with a green light and putting please DM me in my status, so it doubly means nothing. So you can see why they would like the knock feature when they already have this issue with people setting boundaries with their statuses, basically saying, don't interact with me right now. Either they have an offline status or a do not disturb. They are setting a boundary saying, I don't want to communicate with people right now, and that makes Toaster upset. So you can see, again, why they would like the knock feature so much. It forces an interaction on someone who might not want it. And on top of that, you can see this very attention-seeking behavior with the please DM me in their status. Like, it's just kind of odd. And also, one of my viewers was able to discover this. So they say, can't believe that your idiotic addition to Twitch is what made me discover you condone the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign, which, are we surprised? So here is a section of tweets. You can kind of read it for yourself, but they're basically shooting down any of the excuses or justifications people are making for playing this game. But this is the
So again, these woke people who are, friendly and kind and inclusive,
playing the topical wizard game of the
those are just words.
anyone I know,
They don't know the meaning of it.
that will be
They're
going.
not kind. They're very hateful and petty.
That's nuts. If you have
They're not inclusive because if you don't agree with their thoughts,
immediately
or you have a different opinion,
friends with someone and you
then you will be excluded.
of playing the wizard game, and all of a sudden now that is going into your folder that they have about you, the list of grievances and supposed wrongdoings you have done. That's a very strange practice to have. But shortly after those tweets started flying around once again, you can see this Google Doc being dropped by a VTuber named Sierra. Now, this is a very extensive document talking about some of Evil Toaster's behaviors behind the scenes and also in public, and you can read the disclaimer for yourself on this document. There's two things I want to lay out here. Number one, for brevity's sake, we are just going to highlight the most relevant parts of this document, and on top of that, there is no criminal stuff, or at least something that looks criminal.
Your favorite content creator is actually evil.
People who have interacted with Toaster to share their experiences with him, and mainly the main highlight of what they're all saying is that he has no concern for boundaries. People set boundaries, he keeps pushing past it, whether it's romantically or
Maybe
it seems very
he
again
I wonder how
understand the
he will
criticism of the
how he would react if
with the
he was the one,
document, and they're sharing regarding
getting his boundaries crossed.
one of the first things Toaster will tell anyone is that he craves
Or maybe he is so unlikable that no one wants to
screenshot
interact or engage with him.
conversations with Toaster. So to explain what's happening here in the context, apparently they were talking and it became much more flirtatious.
Also, disclaimer: I have no idea who this evil toaster is. I'm just basing my thoughts on what is being discussed and shown in this Rev Says Desu video.
Which is odd after they just said, I don't.
Maybe he is a very nice person in real life.
And again, he would reply down.
I wouldn't know.
I'm just thinking it would be a shame if it came to a point where we would have to hold ourselves back. Again, repeating the same thing that goes beyond what she wants. And then again, she says, I just hope you don't devalue me as a friend because I'm, limiting our connection here. Where Toaster replies, again, saying, but the connection beyond just being respectful as content creators is so far very unique. And it's hard not to want to explore, basically going beyond just being friends and obviously something romantic or sexual or what have you. So you can see they get these boundaries placed by someone else, and they constantly keep pushing past it. They keep trying to go past it, even if they are hearing what the other person is saying. And here's another example from an anonymous user where I think this will explain a lot going forward. So apparently this person opened up to Toaster, shared a lot of personal stuff, and said, oh, you might be going to the same convention. If I see you at the convention.
Why would you even do that? My goodness.
And that gets...
Why would you open up
First of all, they were
to a stranger?
Apparently some personal information about a completely unrelated person. But then they say not just that they would want to hug this anonymous person, they would also want to cuddle, which is obviously escalating the amount of physical contact. Like most people hug their friends, but they don't cuddle with their friends. I mean, it's obviously something additional where they ignore that. The anonymous person ignores that and tries to basically ignore any of these additional things. And it seems obvious that they just want to move on in the conversation and not have this different direction they're going, where they then repeat again that they would love to cuddle them and also tell them how pretty they are. Now, I think a lot of this has to relate to this tweet. I think this tweet...
Ew, okay, so maybe the guy is just creepy.
Why this goes even deeper. So this is a tweet from back in July referring to...
I won't be surprised if
to meet up at.
he's also a PDF file.
Is another reminder that
I'm not saying he is.
girlies.
I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised.
Treatment and affection they give each other, even though I try to connect with them. I've gotten better at dealing with that fact over time, but it still hurts to think about. So number one, I'd like to remind you, I'm pretty sure this is a guy in his 30s, and it's a tweet that looks like something a depressed teenager would make. So yes, it's cringy. Like this tweet seems cringy because they're saying I'm not one of the girlies and all this stuff. But with this context, some additional screenshots from personal conversations, this kind of extends upon what they meant by that previous tweet, which I think gives it a much more serious and odd twist. Okay, so what they're saying in the DMs here is number one, saying that they're not escaping the man class position, which is something I would expect a male feminist to say, right? They're saying that they can't, I guess, escape the perception that they are a man. And they are curious about how things would be different if...
Yeah, maybe in the future. Maybe in the future, there'll be a drug that you can just take. And the drug will turn you into...
Who would let me tell them...
a different sex, you know?
Let me touch them.
But unfortunately, that drug doesn't exist today, and it may never exist. Because seriously, it took nature like millions of years,
They know past.
to create, to find the correct combination,
Weird thing to say.
to create
Doing this with their previous
an intelligent
what they mean by saying that they're
living being.
girlies is that they believe if they were perceived as a girl, they could go further than the boundaries being set by these girls they're trying to fit in with. So they say, oh, I have a boundary where, for example, they don't want them to touch them. Well, if he was perceived as a girl, they...
Maybe he's just a sex maniac. That was a thing back then.
Directly says pretty much where the point where they're stopped now, they might get past it if they're perceived as a girl.
I'm pretty sure they still exist today.
This personal explanation makes a pretty weird standard, I would say. On top of that, you can just see like random screenshots like this. I think they're pretty telling, like constantly talking about girls and being lonely and trying to kind of fit in with the girlies, so to speak. But here's another tweet. This user sharing their own story alongside the Google Doc here in the replies to that tweet, saying this person named Kimmy saying, I already put out my experiences with Toaster before, probably not in the best way, but I've been badmouthed for citing
This is quite a very long video.
sides when two people I knew were going through a dispute. I was guilt-tripped and given ultimatums. I asked for proof as I was being made to choose between friends, one very new and one I'd known for a long time, but that just made me apparently side more with an abuser. And I read through these chat logs here, and basically, Toaster was saying that this person was very abusive towards them, this friend in question, and basically said, you need to make a choice. It's me or your friend, and you got to make a choice. And this Kimmy person responds by saying, can I have some proof? Like, I would want to know what they're doing, where they, instead of giving proof, say, oh, well, you've picked a side. You picked the side of an abuser. And obviously that's a very serious thing that you can label someone as. And also they point out that around that time, they also lost a lot of mutuals and connections and was pretty much outcasted. And that is a concern a lot of people have raised in terms of their way of dealing with Toaster, because they are pretty connected. They collaborate with a lot of these shoujo members and other big streamers. So they're concerned that if they disagree with Toaster or they have some kind of a falling out, it might hurt their connections as in terms of their career. But also you might have noticed this section right here, and this goes a lot deeper than you might ever expect. So it says,
So I guess
numerous
to be popular in this particular
showed
community, you need to be well connected.
multiple people.
What?
Here's another example from the original.
So it doesn't matter whether you are good or not in what you're doing. What matter is
Examine your ability to appear in
whether you're connected or not. So basically, it's
right now.
instead of
Do you have
abilities, skills, and talents,
send them a
what matters is who you know.
what friend does this? By
That's I think a one of the definitions of corruptions
with these labels being
or corruption.
obviously like I
So
very clear. There's
this particular community is corrupt.
falsely labeling people as
Shocked.
and
No, not shocked, but shocked.
don't want that is weird. And that's, again, another boundary push. Here's another example of them referring to someone else as autistic, also saying that they passed the hot people test.
Almost all the other VTubers are autistic too. Oh my goodness.
Where Toaster
I'm very happy that I'm not a VTuber. Okay, I'm just
implying that
someone with an online using an on-screen avatar,
very long.
not a VTuber.
To sum it up, essentially, Toaster says someone's head is empty. He enforces his own thoughts on what this person should do to a chatter, gets his mod team involved, and then questions why this person isn't loving towards him, but is to others. He also openly talks about how this person is autistic to someone else, even though the person in question is not diagnosed or identified.
There will come a day that everyone in the world is
Autistic as heck.
diagnosed with some kind of autism,
So
because the spectrum just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
however, they are policing others for things that I think are far less serious. So there's an individual who had a falling out with Toaster, and it had to do with comments they made on stream. They were in a collab, and these two girls were making jokes that are a part of their communities, their shared communities, and one of them was talking about how the one girl is psychotic because she's short. It's a joke they're both comfortable with. It's something that their communities are fine with. But Toaster had a big issue with this on stream and even carried this into private, where the person in question would profusely apologize, where Toaster would say, no one likes mental health related jokes. I added you in the chat earlier about PTSD jokes too, where they again apologize saying, yeah, sorry, I didn't fully understand it at first, and that's my bad. I just used to...
I wonder how they became popular.
And they were probably saying...
That is a big question, at least for me.
So they do all that stuff with the
So, content creators getting exposed
psychotic in their
as
finger wagged in their
evil,
and they're getting
and yet
and
they're still popular.
accepted and they're
It's amazing.
guilty about
It's amazing. It says more about the audience than the
claim where police Toaster was trying
the content creator.
craziest one. So this individual says, years ago, he would minority police me to insane standards. I was in a dark place at the time, stuck in an abusive relationship. And if I showed frustration on stream to the extent of, man, where is my team? Nothing vile, he would send DMs, not asking, hey friend, are you okay? But rather giant essays on how I'm a disappointment to the community, how I'm letting people down, people of color, gay folks, and more importantly, making him look bad to his sponsors that he once recommended to me. He's thrown me and several friends of mine under the bus with this sort of behavior, and funnily enough, it's always been minority streamers. There was a PMA police energy around him with his crew, which spits in the face of authenticity because, God forbid, minorities be anything less than perfect and happy all the time. And we would see another claim about power dynamics, and we saw kind of some people hinting towards this, that because Toaster is well connected and an established creator, people were afraid of speaking about anything because they might burn bridges and he might go out and talk badly about them. And we see some of these examples here, like this one, where he's kind of dangling a collab opportunity with Zentreya and kind of shaming this person for wanting to play some other different game, because if they played this certain game, then they could get the collab. It was just like a very strange thing, and I understand why people would be afraid of upsetting someone in a position like he has. And here's the conclusion, I mean, pretty much wrapping up what we talked about here, and I think the one section here is pretty interesting where they're talking about how
All I see is a wall of text.
victim, that their identity and how they're
Although
their
it's a nicely organized
it's because
wall of text.
pushing boundaries and making people uncomfortable. And that's why people distance themselves from Toaster. So there's no boogeyman going around trying to demonize you and ruin your life. You're doing that on your own. Now, a lot of people in that document also said there is a very low chance he's going to publicly address anything, even though there's thousands upon thousands of likes on the Google Doc and also related tweets criticizing him. And this is his latest tweet. It looks like he's gone dark. It's been 2 days since he's tweeted anything, and all the replies are basically saying, bro, you messed up. Are you going to say anything? And yeah, we got radio silence. So at this point, I don't know if we're going to hear any responses, but that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys were informed on some things, and as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below.
Okay, so yeah, that was 20 minutes of Rev talking about a frog. Rev versus frog. Okay, now let's see. Let's watch this. Avowed. Okay, so of course, Mr. Mattyplace. Okay. Yep, he is a known. He's a known Bethesda Game Studios content creator. Let's see here. Avowed. What is Avowed? We will find out what this game is. Looking at the thumbnail, sometimes thumbnails are not a good indication of the person's opinion on something, because sometimes they just do wacky faces on the thumbnails to get the clicks.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. I know I am. I'm no longer in LA, and I played Avowed, so I'm winning on both ends. I kid. My friends from LA, I love you dearly. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about some time I spent with Avowed. I also had the opportunity to sit down alongside my lovely co-host of the Founding Duke, Lord Cognito, on the Iron Lords podcast channel, and talk to the production director and art director of Avowed about what we played, and we got some answers.
Access Media. There you go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in this video, but we're also going to get into a lot of nuggets that no one.
So the game is a first-person
frame rate, and these are like legitimately great answers.
role-playing game.
Yeah, I have my thoughts on the frame rate conversation. We'll get into that. But I really wanted to lean into what I played from Avowed and what I learned from that interview. So we'll be spotlighting both of those.
Ultima Underworld.
Interview, which is over a half-hour long.
So, are they saying that it doesn't have a third-person view? Oh, come on, it sucks.
Consider subscribing.
I'm a big fan of third-person view games.
Fly me out to this event in
Yeah.
LA, and they did pay for my stay. I brought my fiance with me, so I paid for her flight. So some of my money was on the line, but I'm not like IGN or something like that where I got money coming out my ears and I can pay for every single trip. I'm trying to fund it.
Dude, it doesn't matter. You'll make more. You'll make more from this video, okay? You'll easily get what you spent back. It's called an investment, okay? I don't get why big and popular content creators do this, you know?
There, and we'll talk about that.
Everyone knows
Video, but
is that everyone knows that they'll eventually get the money back. So I don't know.
Some of my favorite beat 'em ups growing up, whether it be something as old as Turtles in Time or something as new as Dragon's Crown, and I think they're just doing all the right things. And I would never doubt Stoic as the developer.
I guess they're trying to score some EQ points, you know, emotional
Something I'll talk about
points, emotional quotient points.
Whereas Avowed,
You must feel for this person. Oh my goodness, I feel for you, bro.
probably
I know.
by launch.
So there must be some kind of sap.
So let's talk about that. For me, it really comes down to the combat. When it comes to the design and the mechanics, this is some of the best.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the graphics,
Sometimes combining them.
but
My companion Kai to do some.
it looks stylized. I'm not quite sure if it's stylized.
A lot of fluidity and flexibility in this combat system, and when you
Just looking at the video that is shown right now, I'm liking the look and the style of the game.
the best part of the game, which was dialogue and skill checking. Avowed still,
Colors are saturated.
but man, does the combat really
It's bright.
way on a mechanics level, and then because of that, the level design is the best it's ever been for Obsidian. It also helps that this
I'm not a fan of dark games. When I say dark games, you know, games that are
saw that this was the
always seem to be at night,
in front of me. I was just so impressed by
because it's hard to say anything.
how the color grading
I
was.
guess that is part of the game's appeal.
That existed within them, like the statues, but the debris that lay around it. Like, this is a beautiful game, which I didn't quite anticipate because it's Obsidian. That's
I wouldn't say this game looks better than Black Myth Wukong.
well.
Of course not. Obviously, this one has a more more style to it.
Man, who is a godlike just like me, talked forever. And in a good way, I mean. I had like 7, 8 dialogue options at one point, and I would go down a whole entire rabbit hole. And normally dialogue systems go like this. They narrow over time, and so all those options kind of exist as an illusion to get you to the same endpoint. So as I'm clicking through dialogue, making all these different choices, I think I'm just narrowing things down. But then all of a sudden I get kicked back to the top, and there are those 7 or 8 options again. And I'm blown away. I'm like, wow, so it looks this good. The gameplay is shaping up pretty well, and the dialogue is meaty. So it doesn't feel like any of this was done at the sacrifice of what I know and love about Obsidian, which made me really happy with the game. But I opened this up with like a criticism. That's because
My question is, do the characters have pronouns?
but it doesn't feel
That is my question.
melee area versus
Because in today's modern gaming,
the also say the sound
having pronouns is essential.
to be better.
Essential to a game's success or failure.
Not play a factor in my experience because I was playing it on a PC and it was running at 60 frames per second. I did not play this on an Xbox console. So with that in mind, what goes wrong with this? I went through the demo twice over. The first time as a ranger, so I had 2 guns in my hand, I had a bow and arrow in my hand that I could switch to, so I was doing some stealth takedowns. When enemies were coming at me, I had abilities to throw out. I could use both guns, I could charge up shots. That felt good. Avowed felt at home right then and there. Then I switched over to the barbarian class. This I don't know how to word it. Did not feel
Okay, so why is the barbarian holding his weapons in front of him? It doesn't make sense.
aside, like you had directional bleeding and stuff like that was there where it was giving you proper visual response to what you were doing, but it was even more floaty, it felt like, than Skyrim at times. And I don't like to say that because, again, mechanically it's sound.
Technically, you are floating, okay? When you are in first-person view, you are technically floating. You're just a camera, okay? You don't have a body. You have two hands and a camera.
If you're looking for the best,
That's it.
Mage, Ranger. They feel the most at home. They feel the best. They look right. They definitely embrace the majority of the game's mechanics. But melee does not feel great in this game. And when you combine that with what was said in the interview, I'll let you listen for the answer yourself here.
I mean, nitty gritty of it, performance is one of the last things we figure out, right? We are core, and I think we've announced this elsewhere, we are core targeting 30 frames per second bare minimum. Like that's the expectation. It's a first-person single-player game. You don't necessarily need that 60 frames, and that allows us to get a lot juicier with VFX and lighting and all this other stuff. So it's a trade-off we opted to make relatively early, and we're really happy with that. I mean, the game's running pretty smooth for how visually dense it is, and that was always our goal. But as far as like a greater understanding of performance spec, we're still figuring all that out. It's one of the last things you do. So yeah,
I don't think it's really acceptable to be at 30 frames when your game looks great, but it doesn't look like, say, Hellblade levels, where I think we were willing to accept photorealism at 30 FPS. And I also think when your animations are looking like this, you gotta be at 60 frames on console. Like, there's just no excuse as far as I'm concerned. It just doesn't seem right to me because this game is pushing Obsidian's limits, but it's viewed in a similar way I view Bethesda Game Studios. There's Bethesda Game Studios standards, there's industry standards, there's Obsidian standards, and then there's industry standards. And I think Obsidian finds themselves more in the middle of the pack of the games industry because they find themselves making a bunch of different games from like Fallout New Vegas to Grounded to now Avowed and The Outer Worlds. Like they're all kind of different style games for the most part. Whereas something like Avowed, which is now an exclusive game, and the fact that it's only at 30 and it has some visual jank like this in the animation department, I don't find particularly acceptable. And I hope that because they said in the interview answer that this is one of the last things they do, that they do find a way to do 60 frames on console, at least the Series X. I can understand the Series S. We're seeing a bit of lagging behind on that, where Starfield, for example, just got 60 frames on Series S, so it's possible. It just takes more development time. I'm hoping that Avowed can get at least 60 frames on Series X at launch time, because I don't think it's acceptable. And if it didn't feel great to me at 60 frames, I don't think it's going to feel great.
Oh, come on. Just play it on PC, okay? Why even play it on a console when it's also releasing on PC? I'm pretty sure this, content creators that are big, I'm pretty sure they all have PCs, okay? So if you have a PC that can run,
sound is the most underrated component.
that can run a game, then why play it on an Xbox? It doesn't make sense.
Better.
Yeah, it feels like you're basically just, hindering yourself in enjoying the game.
Avowed is missing these sorts of things. I think something like the sound, which they did confirm in the interview.
Okay, I guess this is their Ultima Underworld. Underworld failed, I think.
It should be a priority because it doesn't sound great and in turn it doesn't feel great. I think I could deal with floaty animations if the sound effects, especially in melee combat, were better. So fingers crossed on that. But overall, when I'm looking at the complete package here, the combat does enough to get the job done. In particular with ranged and mage combat, these do feel pretty good. But if you're like a Bethesda Game Studios fan, such as myself, there's a trade-off here that may make things a little more appealing to you. I say that because one thing that really disappointed me with Starfield, as I've said a million times, so I apologize if I'm a broken record to you, is the lack of truly unique looking and feeling weapons in that game. Like, to me, that's a Bethesda Game Studios and now Obsidian Entertainment staple. And so I was very pleased to learn in my demo that they had plethora of unique weapons to run through, some with their own different active abilities, some with their own different passives, but more importantly, they all looked different, and they did confirm in said interview that I did that there were a lot of uniques. So that made me excited because I'm happy to see more loot, more changes in my loadout. That goes a really long way with me compared to maybe others out there. Perhaps the biggest surprise of my time with Avowed was the level design. The level design in this game opens things up a lot, especially because that impacts quest design if Obsidian's on their A game. And right now, I'm getting a pretty good feeling about things. Now, I did play from a save file that was about 6 levels in, so I was early enough in the game, but not super deep into the thick of things where I was seeing all the reactivity. But for example, there were already multiple options I presented to you on how I could go through combat. Then the level itself opens up where there's different stealth routes, there's certain like hidden caverns that I could drop into, multiple entrances into rooms, almost not quite though, Dishonored-like. It kind of reminded me of that though when I dropped into one of my quest objectives and there was like a couple other ways.
Okay, so I just saw an object that was shaking.
Surprised me was in the unmarked.
It's very common
So there was
in games with physics.
building, and it turns out that
Sometimes dead bodies would
and try
shake all over the place.
that I was gonna check for those sorts
You'll
of things.
also see that in Star Citizen. There are times when you are landing a ship,
Statue.
you'll find or see ships that are just for some weird reason would just keep on shaking.
We fought. And I thought it was amazing to see that was there and it was totally missable. And even in the interview, they talked about how you could bypass whole combat situations and the game's going to account for that just by abilities that say.
Honestly, playing in first person doesn't really feel immersive. I don't know why.
Where things like the combat may disrupt people's level of hype, but I think it could be balanced out a little bit more if these sorts of things win you over. For me, it kind of evened me out.
At least for me, maybe because of the way the hands are positioned.
But definitely, I think could be.
Because if you're walking and you even if you raise your hand on your hips, if you align your hands on your hips, raise it up, you won't see your hands.
Actually 50 plus ending slides in this game. That was something I was surprised
It always feels like the hands are way too high.
that I think needed.
I guess that is the reason why I don't feel immersed
For those of you
when playing first-person games
thought
like this one.
hey, even the Outer Worlds, like these are things ripped straight out of those games. So to know there's over 50 ending slides is really good because one thing that the production director had actually confirmed to us is that each zone that you go through or hub has its own distinct set of endings. And you can really, as they would put it, ruin someone's day. Did I see that play out for my
Again, the game looks nice. I like the style of the graphics.
And then when you have
It's not, of course, Wukong looks like
the art director told me
maybe 10 times better.
something
But this is nice. Okay, I'm not saying the graphics is bad.
more dead.
Beside,
As the Outer Worlds, I would have my
at the end of the day,
what content
it all boils down to
because I feel like that's
is the gameplay fun?
this game.
Okay, there you go.
Locations showing up with valuable things to find. That's going to be
If the gameplay is fun, then
still valuable things to find.
it doesn't matter if the graphics is
The Outer Worlds did it.
dated.
I'd be like roaming, and you just find a pack of enemies by like a bunch of shipping crates, and that's a labeled location and content. I don't know. For me, that's a lot less exciting. That's a bit of a bummer, and it doesn't fulfill me as much. So hearing that things are denser than the Outer Worlds is, I think, a good step forward because hopefully that means we'll find at least frequently more content. And I'm hoping with like the level design that it could be very like Dishonored or Prey-esque where I can find content X different than you found it, and that'll also be really cool. Cog informed me on this because I did not check this out, but there is actually a glossary option inside Avowed, and I thought this was really good. For those of you who played Pentiment, you'll know that this game had an option where you could kind of pause the game and check out definitions of things that they were referencing, whether it be people or places or time periods, that sort of thing. And if you weren't fully educated on the time period, this sort of brought you into the world a little bit more without having to be an expert on it. They're taking that same energy and bringing it to Avowed. What this does is enables very lore-centric dialogue to occur, and if you want to keep up, you're going to have to check this glossary out, but it's going to be available to you. And I thought this was good because I was thinking about, for me as someone who has yet to play Pillars of Eternity, there's a lot of game there and a lot that could have been left behind, so I'm glad for the hardcore fans who went through this game. It doesn't feel like Obsidian's forgetting about you in the name of accessibility or a larger franchise. I do think the days of Pillars of Eternity are probably done, and that you'll likely get like Avowed 2 more than a Pillars of Eternity 3. I could be wrong, but it just seems like that's the more likely option of the two. But I think they've done a good job kind of marrying them where you're not really forgetting the roots. I mean, there are some deep cut lore references I already caught that I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about there, where that glossary was very helpful. But also, it definitely incentivized me to get on that Pillars of Eternity playthrough sooner rather than later. Now, with some of the abilities in Avowed, this kind of colors how exploration can work, as we've seen in, for example, trailers, that you can freeze a block of ice and use that to platform up to a higher area. There's multiple routes to getting into certain areas. So what I was thinking of when I was looking at this, because I just played Skyrim from the Bard's College expansion, is, the dungeons in Skyrim are kind of puzzle-like at times, and the modders have really taken that a mile forward. So I asked Obsidian, hey, are there going to be puzzles in this game? Not brain stoppers, but puzzles. And it seems like they're not present. I got kind of a non-answer. They told me it'd be spoilery. I don't know if saying yes would be a spoiler, but if we were to fully trust their word, that we're hearing right now that there might be puzzles of some kind, but more so what they got into was that the options were emphasized and that there was even platforming that was going to be a big focus for them. So I'm not sure what the word fully is on puzzles, I guess, until I play the game, but what I saw with the way you could interact with the environment, the powers you could use,
platforming
options for dungeons
in a first-person game, oh my goodness, it's gonna be nauseous.
I can see this kind of usurping Skyrim and the simple puzzle that's effective in dungeons kind of approach. So I hope they do.
It's much easier if it's in third person because you can actually see your character. In first person, it tends to be, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself, okay?
Obsidian splits
I
up.
find it, nauseating.
Here's our Pentiment team, here's our Avowed team, here's the Outer Worlds, and then they kind of rejoin for different projects and then splinter off and go in different directions. And so to hear that, plus the massive QA team backing it, was pretty interesting to get a good picture of like how many people are working on this game and how does it scale.
Sadly, I don't think I'll be able to play this game. Looking at the game's graphics, this might require at least a good video card to run this.
It doesn't need to be 60. I'm like,
of course, if it's made in Unreal Engine, there are ways of, there are ways to make the game run on a potato PC.
Both dialogue and gameplay wise was tantalizing, and I am very excited for Avowed still, but there were a few things combat wise that I felt were drawing it back a little bit. So ladies and gentlemen, I leave that in your hands. Let me know what you're thinking of Avowed down below. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts, and with that, I will catch you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.
Okay, so that was Avowed by Mr. Matty Place. He got to play the game. He got to play the game. It's time to play the game. Okay. You were there. Okay, why is this being... That's basically, what is this? A playlist compiled by YouTube. And this is from Hypnotic. Woke DI Team Shooter Concord flops. Okay, let's go watch this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Concord yet again. I know, Concord.
Concord for the win.
It's just a gift that just won't stop giving. Man, this game is getting insulted left and right on Twitter. It is a bloodbath. I have never seen something get so unbelievably roasted in a long time. Even Dustborn is not getting roasted as much as this game, and that's because Dustborn came like a fart in the wind, right? Nobody really promoted it. It just came out around the same time or the same day that Black Myth Wukong came out, and it was a fart in the wind. That's it. A3 players played it, and they moved on with their lives, and they're going to write their glowing 9 out of 10 reviews because it's diverse, right? It's the same nonsense we always see. But Concord, on the other hand, the developers have been talking a massive game where they're trying to say they're going to be around for years to come. They're going to be one of the most successful franchises on PlayStation. They might even take over for Horizon Zero Dawn for...
Hypnotic, that is not impossible. Okay, they can stay or run the game for decades. Just take a look at Shroud of the Avatar. In Shroud of the Avatar, no one plays the game anymore, maybe except for a few handful of people. And guess what? It's still getting updated every month. Okay.
Pete.
Yeah. a game that don't have any players can still exist for a very long time. It is possible.
A better experience for free somewhere else, whether it's through Overwatch or Valorant or whatever the case may be. They decided to spend $40 to join a very exclusive club that is going to support a game that's going to be dead in a year. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I have been seeing so many jokes about Concord on Twitter. I just had to bring some to you guys. Apparently, if you guys remember Redfall, remember that absolute fucking destruction known as Redfall, that travesty of a game, Redfall? Well, apparently, Redfall was a massive joke to a lot of people in the Xbox community, right? They were getting roasted for Redfall because it was pretty much garbage with bad frames and everything like that. Well, now Xbox players are taking it upon themselves to remind PlayStation 5 of that notion, because PlayStation players are coping and seething over the fact that Concord has had a peak of 622 players on Steam. Meanwhile, Redfall had a peak of 6,124 players on Steam. Concord can't even get anywhere close to what Redfall did, and Redfall was considered a massive failure. So Concord must be a fucking mega failure at this point. I mean, you might as well just close up shop. Just close down the studio now. Just go bye-bye. I don't understand how you can even remotely try to gaslight people into thinking 622 concurrent players is good for a live service game. I just don't. Well, apparently, they are also getting clowned on Steam. The people who are giving positive reviews for this game because they might be shills or whatever the case would be, or maybe they got, the game for free or something like that. Well, apparently, they're getting literally clowned. They're putting clown emojis on positive reviews on Steam. This guy said solid hero arena shooter. So many say, oh, it's just a copy of blah blah game. The art style to gameplay is super fun, and solid personally $40 tag is worth for the time I'll put into it, but to each their own. Is it really worth the time though, when you can put in just as much time in other games that do it better for free? It's not worth the time, bro. You're trying to convince yourself that you didn't waste your money. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be one of these people.
Maybe he got the game for free.
I gotta either double down or request a refund. And a lot of these people have egos, so they're gonna just double down. That's normally what they're gonna do. Look at all the clown emojis here. You got 19 clown emojis for this absolute fucking clown and one chicken. And then look at this here. Shooting feels great. Challenges are gun, maps, and modes are quite good as well. The music is a real standout. Ignore the internet and give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Ignore the internet. Clearly, that's
it sounds like the developer. This guy's a developer.
They're trying to convince this happens all the time, by the way. I hope you understand that. This same exact thing happened with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. When people were defending that game, the shills, right? When the game started to drop massively, and it went from 13,500 players to about 500. Those 500 players will leave crazy comments on my videos, on other people's videos, on Twitter posts, and they'll try to say, I'm enjoying the game, I'm loving the game, I'm not making I didn't regret my decision, I absolutely love this game, I'm going to try to get everybody to play with me. They're coping and seething because they don't want to...
Who knows? Maybe they really love the game,
bad decision, but they don't want
As they say, one man's garbage is another man's treasure.
Within the first month.
Yeah.
They realize
So everyone could be,
yeah, they're the stubborn ones. They don't.
everyone looked at the game and saw trash, but who knows? Maybe this guy
This is how it's.
saw a treasure.
The person said Concord might be one of the greatest multiplayer games of the modern era, said Herman Holtz about Concord in a recent interview. He said this has the potential to overtake Horizon as PlayStation's most important franchise of all time. Expect to see a lot more Concord in the future. Really? With 622 players, really? That's what we're going with. Well, apparently this is how it's going. Diddy Kong Racing over on Twitch has 29,000 followers watching that particular game. Concord has 2.4K followers with only 61 viewers watching that game. Yes, 61 viewers are watching Concord. That is absolute mega failure. And then apparently they have now resorted to attacking the fans, because this is clearly something that is has worked so many times before, right? So apparently one of the developers has decided to attack the fans and call them talentless freaks for not liking their bullshit. So let's read what he said. Free Gunner says, it's Concord release day. So insanely proud of the team and what they and we have accomplished. A labor of love like nothing else. Been playing it so much since early access started a few days ago. And I'm so excited for it to be available to everyone. And I'm so honored to have had this be my first AAA game. Well, that shows. That shows. It shows that this is your first AAA game. Was a huge learning experience, lots of struggles, which is very evident, and I'm glad to have gone through them. Time to go play. So this is a developer who has skin in the game, right?
Okay, so here's the thing: if they want to break the number of concurrency, what they should do is give all their family members a key
Best game of all time. And then
and ask them, schedule a day that everyone will start playing the game. Who knows? They might break the 600 peak concurrency.
completing this game, it just came at the wrong time and genre. This is when the mask comes off. When you start telling them facts and you're doing it nicely, the mask comes off. He says, I don't really care. They do, by the way. Let it be known they do. If you're responding to Twitter comments like this in mass and you're trying to pretend like you don't care, you do. You care to some extent. It is a project of yours. You are expected to care to some extent. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because yes, that's clearly the best idea, to call the people who may potentially buy your game talentless freaks, right? When they got actual genuine criticism. The guy was trying to be nice. Like, it's not like he was being rude. He was trying to be nice, and you call him a talentless freak with everybody else, bro. This shit is absolute insanity. And then the guy responds, says, talentless freaks? I actually came to drop some positive criticism, but get fucked. Clearly, based on the game, you're the one with no talent. Again, you can't be nice to these people. If you be nice to these developers, they're not going to actually be nice to you. They don't like you. They don't like gamers. You are not their target audience. They want the modern audience. And guess what? With those 622 concurrent players that are going to massively drop within the next few weeks to probably like 50, you found the modern audience. Congratulations. So anyway,
There you go.
hope you did enjoy.
I'm saying the same thing. Okay, the modern audience does not exist.
Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
So, I just hope that these developers realize that they are developing or making games to a non-existing audience. What they should do is focus on making games for an actual audience. And guess what? I'm pretty sure they have analytics on that. They know who are playing the games, or they know what games are being played by certain demographics. Okay, so if you're targeting male or men, 20 to 40, okay, you should make games that 20 to 40-year-old men will want to play, There you go. Give them the ability to blow things up. Have like pretty looking characters. Add a lot of explosions. Okay, so this is Dustborn and it's 7 hours long. Okay, not going to watch that. The internet is going wild over this problem. What is the problem? I'm going to refresh this. Refresh. And I refreshed it and I got the same videos. Oh boy. Okay, so look at that. I've already seen this, but it's not reflected. Why? Whoa, Dustborn, the death of woke.
Copistry Ambit says, visit Cavalier Office KO5 page at link.
IGN Orand. Okay, so this is from Smash JD, but it's 2 days ago. It's kind of old. Okay, Dustborn is a flop. Okay, let's go watch this one. It's official. Concord is dead.
When it comes to
yeah, it's kind of obvious.
you got to take a stand. You know, it doesn't help to hide. And right now, I feel like it's time for Sony to take a stand. And it's time for them to hold a memorial service, funeral, if you will, because
It's time.
officially dead. Now, I had my doubts.
Okay, ooh,
when it was
it's Concord. Veil.
in realism. Because
Pachoo, 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 pachoo.
monumental flop. There's going to be millions and millions of dollars lost. A lot of
Hey, developers of Concord, give me a key and I'll try to play it. If the game will run on my PC, I'm going to try to play it.
it's a multifaceted thing. So in today's video, I kind of want to go over from my
Who
perspective
knows? I might enjoy
completely
playing it.
because it's not going to be saved. There's no miracle that's
I've always wanted to have a pronoun.
how some people, the usual suspects, may
My very own pronoun.
what we could do in the future to sort of avoid these.
Look at that. It's the red and gray Hulk.
Hit that subscribe button. But where is my proof that Concord flopped? Well, it's right here, pal. The all-time peak on August 23rd, 2024, a couple of days after the game has released, is 697 players on Steam. Now, the all-time peak of May 25th, 2023 for The Lord of the Rings Gollum, arguably not only one of the worst games of 2023, but one of the worst games of all time. A game that had no real redeeming quality. 758 people. So more people chose to buy and play this game, The Lord of the Rings Gollum, one of the worst games of all time, instead of Concord. Now, how did we come to this situation? I feel like Concord was doomed from the start. You know, think about when they
Yeah, maybe it's just a money laundering
started off
scheme there.
the trailer. It looks like a bootleg, you know,
I have no proof of that. I'm just messing around.
it's going to be a
Because
game. Some of the
look, they spent like what, $100 million on this game? Or was it, yeah,
fun.
still millions of dollars on a game that no one
Interested in it. We got a
bought.
strong story.
No one bought
These
the
characters,
game.
give them a little bit of personality, and then they showed the gameplay in a much shorter trailer, which was pretty much, hey, look, it's a 5-on-5 hero shooter, a genre that is well past its prime. Now, there used to be a large market for games like this, you know, what, 8 years ago, 9 years ago or so, when there wasn't an overinflation of all of these games doing something very similar. Now, that's not to say we're not saying new entries into games like this, because, you know, recently, as recent as this year, you know, Star Wars Hunters came out on the Nintendo Switch, which was a team-based shooter, 5-on-5, I believe it was. And then, of course, you have Marvel Rivals coming out as well, another game that's very similar in style. But when you look at those two games, there's a major difference.
Well, Marvel Rivals is well, it's a literal hero shooter.
So you don't necessarily have to be a fan of this style of gameplay. You know, maybe you're interested in Star Wars, or maybe you're interested in the Marvel properties. So there's something there for you. And with Star Wars Hunter, of course, that was a free-to-play game. I actually put about 5 or 6 hours into it. I pretty much felt like I saw everything I needed to with the game, but it was a decent enough time, and it didn't cost me any money. Concord, on the other hand, does not have that luxury for two specific reasons. First and foremost, this is a $40 game. They are charging money for a game that has many contemporaries that are free to play, that are arguably better, that are arguably more fleshed out, that are arguably more quality experiences and more familiar experiences. And really, the characters that you brought to the table here aren't really all that interesting. Now, there's been a whole debate about these characters, and yes, I could definitely see how it just seems like they just sort of did like a DEI checklist or something like that to include every sort of person in the world. But if the characters were interesting, if they had, something interesting about them, I don't necessarily think that really matters at the end of the day, whatever their race or sex or pronouns is. Like, if you're a gender fluid, they, them character, like, are you cool? Do you do something cool in the game? Do I have a reason to be attached to you as a character from your story perspective or your personality or something like that? And just trying to do...
They all have the same character.
It's just ridiculous.
And motivation.
Ridiculous.
Their motivation is they all just want to have sex with each other. And they want to bring in kids. Yeah, that is the agenda.
Contemporaries that are free to play, it's just a death strike. Now, of course, there are people online. I've seen lots of fun things, people talking about it's a good game. People just don't want to try anything new. That was
Yeah, I will try it. Come on, give me a key. Okay, dear game developers of Concord, give me a key and I will try it.
like,
Of course,
break it down for me.
it depends on whether my PC can run it or not. If the minimum requirements to run this game is an RTX 2080, then good luck with that.
Things that you could do within it. But the core of the game itself is nothing new. All because you are enjoying the game doesn't mean that the mass audiences are going to enjoy the game. Game development, somehow, some way, we've lost the sight that it is a very cutthroat industry. And most importantly, it is a consumer-driven industry. If a consumer is not supporting your product for whatever the case may be, then you probably shouldn't be trying to make said product. And when you put product out there and it completely flops or it doesn't do up to expectations, who do you really need to blame? The consumer or you? Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about money. And it doesn't matter your race, your sex, your gender, your religion, your sexual preference, your pronouns. None of that matters to companies. What matters is being able to make money. You think that Sony is upset that a large contingency of Black Myth Wukong sales on the PlayStation 5 are Chinese instead of American people? No, they don't care. It's money to them. They want to make money. So when you see something like that, like the video game industry is supposed to make money. You have budgets. You have things that you need to do within those budgets. And if you're not catering to the consumers or you're not catering to a market that would enjoy this game, then yes, it's going to flop, even if you think it's fun. I also saw someone say in a Twitter Spaces, well, maybe they need to bring Concord to Xbox. Really? That's gonna save this game, putting it on another platform so that another couple of hundred people.
They should release it on mobile. There you go. Yeah, that will save the game. Release the game on mobile and make it free to play.
Call me crazy, but looking at how this game has been selling on Steam, looking at how this game has been performing on PlayStation, I don't necessarily think that Xbox gamers are going to be flocking to this game. Just a thought here. It's tough out there for video game companies, and I get it, okay? When this game was probably...
Okay, so I'm going to have some food while I'm watching videos.
So obviously, the gaming market has indeed shifted. The gaming market has indeed changed. But you kind of have to adapt to things like that. You kind of have to have the foresight in order to figure out, what's going to be the next thing. What are people going to be interested in? What should we make this game, and how should this game play out? When you're bringing in a brand new IP, putting it into an oversaturated genre, and charging money when many of your competitors are not charging money for it, what exactly do you expect to happen with this? Did nobody sit there and say, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea? maybe we shouldn't be doing something like this. Maybe this isn't the ticket for us. Because for every successful game of this style, there is a graveyard of failures. And it's going to continue that way until companies can get it through their mind that, hey, you're trying to break into a market that no longer exists. And now we have Concord in that graveyard, rotting away in its corpse. You could put frickin' Aloy in that game. Nothing's gonna save it. It's done. You tried, you failed. Move on to the next thing, and most importantly, learn something from this. Because you still allegedly have more games coming that are going to be similar to this. Looking at you, Marathon, from Bungie, which Bungie is a whole completely different situation. And isn't it interesting how we got that story that Bungie was concerned about Factions 2, and that's why Factions 2 never saw the light of day, even though that was in development for a while. So Factions 2, that's not going to be a success. But Concord, that's the meal ticket. This industry's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, yeah. And one of the developers for Concord, if you said anything about the game on his Twitter, he would hide the tweet and tell you to pay, like, I think it was $7 or $8 to unhide your tweet. Because that's a completely normal reaction to someone criticizing your game. Just ignore them. Go about your business. Who cares? You know how many people say crazy things to me on Twitter all the time? Don't check the replies unless it's something cool. If I share a pro wrestling post, I'm going to check those replies. If I share my opinion on something, I'm not checking those replies because I don't care. I don't care. It's my opinion on something. And if your opinion is different, that's fine. Let me know what you think about the success of Concord in the comment section down below. Are you surprised that this game has officially died?
Okay, so that was Concord. Let's see here. This is ass. Dustbone is a fluff. Whoa, the secret. Okay, it's 44 minutes. Okay, what is the secret, Mr. Umpaville, aka Doctor Junior? Just kidding.
We've been going down the rabbit hole lately, talking about some really insane stuff because I find it incredibly entertaining and fun, and a lot of you also like it. Today, we're talking about something that I've thought about a lot, and one of the first rabbit holes I ever went down on YouTube was in regard to this, and there was a short period of time back in 2009, maybe, where I could have gone down a very different path in life. What's going on, everybody? I'm back again playing The Amazing Frog, and the game's been updated, and they added this thing called Frog Life to it. Today, we're talking about shapeshifters. Ever heard of a shapeshifter? There is a lot of information about shapeshifting on the internet. You are on X or whatever the fuck it's called, Twitter, I like to call it, and you click any post about any person that is currently famous or in the zeitgeist, you will see people who are like, well, how about this video of them shapeshifting into a lizard demon, an alien, a demonic lizard person from the Garden of Eden.
Hell, even if this is all bullshit, it was fun to read about.
And I generally would be like, well, that's crazy, and then I'd move on. But since I like to make videos about fun stuff, today we're going to be talking about the shape-shifting conspiracies, because shape-shifting theories, because there's a lot of them, and I love them.
I tip my hat to the New World Order and suggest all of you drink more fluoride.
As always, if you guys want to see more content like this, press the like button and leave a bunch of suggestions down below what you want to see me make a video of next. It can be of literally anything, a historical event.
Oh, I get it. a Trojan Mongolian horse.
Murderers in the ancient times. I want to do a video about that. I think that'd be really cool.
Giggity.
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I just don't want to make videos about drama all the time. And I'm incredibly passionate about history and facts, if you couldn't tell. Sarcasm! I like having fun.
What are you doing? I'm posting false information on the web. Why? It's fun.
Do you trust me? Do you believe everything you see? Do you believe everything that you see is true?
There are plenty of photographic and audio materials, both conventional and digital, and also some trace physical evidence, which support the premise that ghosts, UFOs and their occupants, plus other non-worldly presences exist. They indicate a supra-form of reality as valid as our normal reality.
Some people say seeing is believing. What if I secretly told you that I was a weremut? Do you know what that is? No, of course you don't, because you're normal. You're a normal person. It's like a werewolf, but instead of turning into a wolf, I would turn into a marmot. And I hope you like that little visual transformation we did of me turning into a marmot. So yeah, anyways, welcome to the video. Now, if you'd believe that, you'd probably believe that I'm not the only person that can change shape. All right, guys? Cultures all over the world believe in shapeshifters. They talk about them. They've talked about them for millennia.
In Greek mythology, there is Proteus, or the god of the sea, son of Poseidon. He had the ability to change form. In shaman legends around the world, it is stated that they are capable of transforming themselves into other people or animals. Christianity tells us the story of how the devil took the body of a snake in order to deceive Eva.
And if you read through their folklore, you would be astonished by the many, many instances of the shape-shifting phenomenon. And that is precisely what we're going to be covering today. Not just the theories, but also the history of shape-shifting in general.
Tales of shapeshifters called skinwalkers have existed since time immemorial.
So we're going to be going back to the beginning of shape-shifting and now to the modern day instance. There's a whole guy.
This has nothing to do with Mr. Beast. Oh, come on! I clicked on the thumbnail because I saw Mr. Beast on the thumbnail.
Literally every famous person, probably even me.
Coming for you! Coming for you! We know what you're doing! I'm sorry.
They believe that we're all shape-shifting assets meant to mislead and, I don't know, divide or something. I don't know. But yeah, your favorite celebrities and politicians are believed by many to be shapeshifters. And this theory is nothing new. However, the theory continually resurfaces as people lose their mind on the internet a lot. And there's a long history of people believing that lizard people are real. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet.
There's an attack on the species by a guild of psychopaths, and they must be defeated. I'm gonna settle down, excuse me.
The beginning. Since humanity began writing down stories, shape-shifting has appeared.
Okay, so this is going to be a very long essay on shape-shifting.
And the human mind easily tricks itself into seeing things that are not real. A lot of things, like that's very common. And this has all led to cultures around the world writing mythology and folklore detailing shape-shifting creatures. Some of the earliest surface-level shapeshifters take place in the Greco-Roman mythology. Prominent characters within the mythology such as Persephone turned into a snake, Demeter into a mare, and Daphne into a laurel. Whatever the fuck that is. Yanny! You guys remember that? There are also numerous tales of gods turning people into things, such as Zeus turning King Lycaon and his family into wolves, or the Odyssey, the famous Homer epic, when Circe transforms Odysseus' men into piggies. That was pretty funny. That was a funny moment in history. In Indian mythology, there are numerous instances of shape-shifting creatures. In Kerala, a state on the southwestern tip of India, a local legend surrounds the Odiyan clan. In Kalara folklore, the clan consists of men who are believed to be able to shapeshift into various animals. These people believe this, genuinely. Another example is Yogini's ability to shapeshift into female animals. Convenient, Yogini. Yogini's a furry. What the fuck? Or is that really disrespectful? Oh well. We're talking about shapeshifters. It's not like I command respect. Yogini, by the way, is a female master of yoga, and because of their level of control over their bodies, they can turn into any animal that they want. And then I assume that somehow turns into sex stuff. I don't know. There are even beliefs that certain animals can transform into humans. Common cobras can turn into shape-shifting cobras after 100 years of penance, apparently. And then once they receive a blessing from the Lord Shiva, they can turn into humans, shapeshift into any animal that they want. That's pretty interesting. What a W. Plus, they can live for another 100 years without aging, which is baller. That's fucking sick. That's rock and roll shit right there. In South America, the Boto or Amazon river dolphin is widely believed to have powers that allow it to turn into humans, as well as turn humans into river dolphins. They look really strange, by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of these fucking things. They're scary as shit. When in human form, the dolphins kidnap people they fall in love with, or children along the riverbank. They kidnap people that they fall in love with, or they kidnap children along the riverbank. The Mapuche in Argentinian lore and Chilean lore references a man who transforms into a woman via magic. Pretty fucking slick.
Whoa, okay. The LGBTQ community will definitely like to have that, you know?
Is a river snake that transforms
A man transforming into a woman via magic. There you go. They need to do a lot more research on that. It sounds promising.
which is basically a werewolf tied into African magic, and it is widely believed that the creature comes from ancient African families, and that specific families have access to ancient magic, which sounds cool as well. I like that a lot. Other African nations, Somalia and Southern Africa, both also have their own shape-shifting creatures. In Somalia, the Kori Ismaris, or the hyena man, is a man who rubs a magic stick against his body to turn into a hyena and then back into a human. That's pretty cool. The Ixam people of South Africa believe the Ikagan, a spirit known to be a trickster that takes the form of snakes, caterpillars, and praying mantises, also bulls. That's crazy to turn into a praying mantis. One of my favorite animals, non-cheetah. My favorite animal is probably a praying mantis outside of a cheetah. And then monkeys as well. But I don't like watching monkeys getting tortured. And that's pretty much all the content on YouTube is monkeys just fucking getting tortured. And all these videos that I love, they're just getting tortured, dude. Nice. It's really sad. It's really sad. I'm drinking out of a straw. I'm drinking water out of a straw. I got all this. Countries like China, Japan, and Korea also have some form of shapeshifter in their cultural folklore. Korean mythology has a fox called the kumiho. They typically appear as a beautiful young woman and seduce men to eat their hearts. That's crazy. I mean, that's wild. Why? That doesn't really, that's wild. Beautiful. Beautiful folklore. Even when in human form, the kumiho has 9 foxtails, and it is widely believed that if a kumiho eats 100 livers, it can entirely turn into a human and shed its foxtails. This creature does also appear in Chinese and Japanese folklore. However, the Korean one is the only malicious version. It's an asshole. Japan has a type of yokai or spirit called the obake, which can shapeshift into anything. Another creature is the bakaniko, a different kind of yokai that appears as a cat and can transform into human form. I'm very excited to read the comments about my pronunciations of anything Japanese, because y'all get kind of crazy out there. They're known to curse humans and attack them when they are traveling in mountainous areas and also possess people. So, dickheads. While there are many different types of shapeshifters worldwide, the most famous one we haven't discussed is the werewolf. Everybody's heard of the fucking werewolf, but that's like a very popular thing. It isn't just like a lichen in the movies and, people thought that shit was real for a very long time. Found in numerous different iterations of European folklore, the werewolf is probably the most popular shapeshifter to have ever existed. We all know how it works. When there's a full moon, people who are werewolves transform into a wolf-like creature and they ravage the night. Dicks! Assholes! Fuck! And then when the sun rises, they return to human form and can only be killed by a silver bullet, and then they're just like, oh, I'm filled with guilt for the things that I've done or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. But where did the werewolf come from? Well, my friends, the idea of a werewolf does not come from a singular place, but it is widely believed that the first mention of a werewolf comes from the Greek story that we mentioned earlier, when Zeus turned King Lycaon, and then he turned him. Yeah. In the Middle Ages, the idea of werewolves grew very popular, and many stories and traditions formed from the old Greek story.
Here's the thing about all this, shapeshifters. Okay, the truth about this, I'm going to spill the truth. These are basically just assholes. Okay, they're assholes. They wear, this is like, hundreds or thousands of years ago. They want to do asshole-like things, but they don't want to expose themselves. So what they do is they would wear like animal skins, and then they would go around in the night harassing most probably women, okay? Most probably women. And of course, back in the day, people are not,
It's
they're not scientifically inclined, so they're more on the spiritual. They're more spiritual than scientific.
the idea of
They see something that looks like maybe a wolf with human hands and legs, and
most people are smart.
there you go. The legend has been born. Again, these are basically just assholes. Wearing animal skin, doing asshole things to most probably women, because women are, easy target for them, okay?
There is a legion of lizard people that control many things
Or maybe even children, because they can easily overpower, a 200-pound man. Not, back in the day, maybe they're all muscles, so they can easily overpower children and women.
became famous in 1929 because of the story known as The Shadow Kingdom in the pulp fiction magazine Weird Tales. Absolutely.
Anyway, this is getting too long. I thought it had something to do with Mr. Beast. I was wrong.
Named Brule tells him that.
But there you go. That is the truth about the shapeshifters. These are, again, assholes back in the day, ancient times. A bunch of assholes wanting to do asshole things, but maybe they're part of the nobility and they don't want to expose themselves and ruin their reputation. So they go out and just wear animal skins. It's gross, but yeah, that's how probably it happened. Shapeshifters still exist today in social media. They mostly discuss instead of animal skins, they wear the skin of righteousness. There you go. They do righteous acts like helping people, donating to charity, saying a lot of good things. There you go. And then later they get exposed to be predators and pedophiles. The same idea. They don't want to be exposed, so they would, do all this good stuff, and people eventually love them, so that even if they get exposed, they have like an army of simps defending them. So there you go. The same idea, just different execution. They are adapting, they are adapting. In the future, maybe 100 years from now, there will be stories about people who, who the modern or the 21st century shapeshifters.
Oh, shit.
Again, Oompa Bill. Okay, so I clicked on this because I thought it was like another expose on Mr. Beast. It wasn't. Okay, let's go and listen to Jeremy's review of The Crow.
Safe to say, if this is bad, some Hollywood folks are going to eat some crow. Eating crow not good. What is good to eat? The sponsor of this video is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is the high-protein, low-sugar breakfast cereal to start.
Magic Spoon. Okay, so you know why it's magic? Because if you scoop with the Magic Spoon, the food disappears.
In a world,
yeah, it's magic.
One of my banes is I like snacking on things. It's like snacking on a bit of Magic Spoon tricks my brain. It's like my brain's like, hey, thanks for the sugar. No brain, no sugar. fooled you. I can't be the only one who does that because now Magic Spoon has Magic Spoon treats. 11 to 12 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, 1 to 2 grams of net carbs. These are light, these are easy. And it's all backed by their money back guarantee. If you're not happy with it, they'll refund your money, no questions. I like that. So click the link in the description and use my code JOHNS to get $5 off when you try Magic Spoon. Or you can scan the QR code technology. And thank you once again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video, especially now that people can actually find Magic Spoon at their local grocery store. Makes a YouTuber feel wanted. And now, so The Crow is the 2024 remake of The Crow. I know some people get irritated, if not angry, at calling this a remake. It's not a remake, it's a retelling of the graphic novel. Sure. Counter argument, the 1994 movie bears a much stronger resemblance to the source material, to the graphic novel, than this new movie does. And
okay, so this is based on the graphic novel, it's not based on the previous movie.
Skarsgård this time around. It was just called Eric on IMDb. Did they ever call him Draven? I don't remember. But Eric and Shelley meet in rehab. They break out of rehab to go do some Molly and get drunk in this penthouse. True love and all that. I mean, it might have been Molly. I'm not a huge drug connoisseur. They definitely put pills on their tongues and wash them down with beers. Moments like that are when it becomes more clear the chasm between my old man energy and the younger audiences that Hollywood's trying to reach these days. For reference, I took a picture of this and sent it to a friend. While I was at a thrift store, I saw this and almost bought it. In fact, I might go back tomorrow and get it. Just so you know where I'm coming from here. And we know how the story's gonna go. Eric and Shelley get murdered. Eric comes back to life to exact vengeance in the name of love. So fun weekend in a penthouse, that probably was the kind of love that one crosses death for. We hear how great their love is, but do you feel it? To be fair to the movie, I feel like this movie was supposed to be longer. Just in terms of certain edits here and there, I was like, I feel like we're missing a scene. Even some of the flashbacks with those two, I was like, maybe it was more than just a weekend. Might have been a whole week, who knows? Which counterexample, maybe it was love. Because when they're staying in this penthouse together, she's like, oh yeah, this belongs to a friend of mine, but he's out of town. He lets me crash here. Also, his clothes seem to fit you. So this was just some 6'4" tall, very successful guy who can afford this place. And Eric asks no questions. Had to have been love. Only love makes you that blind and stupid. But as this movie was going on, I definitely felt a problem here. Unlike the original Crow movie, which relied on flashbacks to fill you in on the past of Eric and Shelley. So Eric can rise from the dead, punch his mirror, get his war paint on, and be ready to go by minute 16 of the film. Now this 2024 Crow film is chronological. We see Shelley and Eric meet, we hang out with them. We get to know them before they die. Which even when I'm saying it out loud, sounds like a great idea. Only thing is, they're not that interesting. She seems fun enough before she just completely fucks off and disappears after she's killed.
They're not interesting. Okay, it's hard to sell a movie if the characters are not interesting.
And Jane hope they get past this phase in their lives before one of them accidentally ODs kind of way. And his character has kind of a weird arc. They don't play up the fact that he's this immortal, kind of navigating the world outside the rules of mortal law. So for a large part of this film, he's this uncertain young man who just happens to not be able to die, but he does still feel pain. He gets shot, he gets his leg broken, he screams, he feels it. He doesn't really come into his immortal confidence until the last act of the movie, which by comparison, if we're comparing to the original Crow movie, is kind of like Eric Draven finally dons the Crow makeup and feels like the Crow about the time he shows up at that council to kill Skang. And while there is something interesting you can do with that, end result is it feels like wasted time. It almost looked like they were going to play with the idea that Eric had been this specter of vengeance and so given himself over to it that he's kind of been separated from his humanity and he's starting to go mad. Then the movie was like, oh, oops, we didn't mean to. Back to the action. That was a close one. We don't want a thinking piece here. That was almost disastrous. Because this movie tries to over-explain everything. Tries to over-explain the lore, tries to overcook the bad guy, like the main bad guy, otherwise known as the bad guy who actually stands out. Granted, he's played by Danny Houston. That's usually a shoe-in for having someone, a bad guy, who's going to stand out. At the very least, he's going to know the assignment. He's going to do the job. Think of how you think the bad guy's going to be based on the fact that Danny Houston's playing him. That's exactly how the bad guy is in this movie, with some more bullshit tacked on that just drags the movie down. I'll get to it in a second. You can peel back layers of themes all you want, but in its bones, this is the crow. When you die, a crow takes your soul to the other side, the spirit world. But if the crime is so heinous, sometimes the soul can't rest, so the crow will bring your soul back so you can right the wrongs. There we go. Boil it down, that's it. And to that core, there's the theme of love. Love is the nucleus of the Crow. The original Crow movie wasn't even that bloody at all. The James O'Barr graphic novel is definitely bloodier. But I never felt the blood was front and center. It was a byproduct. It never felt like the point. This 2024 Crow movie definitely brings blood and gore to the forefront. It's kind of revolving around it. And then, I swear to God, this is the working parts of the plot. Eric and Shelley are murdered. The crow takes his soul, I guess, to the halfway point between here and the afterlife. Shelley's soul is being pulled to hell because the big bad guy is some sort of acolyte of the devil, and he can curse good people to go to hell when they die. In order to stop that from happening and save her, he has to come back and will kill the people who killed them. I feel like if he just killed the main baddie who cursed her, I guess the curse would be gone. And he's only immortal and unable to die as long as he has faith in her and their love. And the moment he starts doubting that, well, he's not so immortal anymore and he can die now. Again, that is. Don't look at me, I didn't write it. Right, why not overcomplicate a very simple concept? The concept of crossing death for love. But you know, it's Hollywood. They hate romance, they hate love. They don't even know how to write it if they wanted to. It's a movie that feels like was adapted by someone who had never seen The Crow or read The Crow, but had heard about The Crow from someone and made a movie accordingly. This movie feels like the cinematic version of those guys who were dressed up like a bunch of Batmans at the beginning of Dark Knight. You have a guy in the costume, but the guy doesn't actually feel like the spirit of the character. This is a Crow movie wearing hockey pads. Best I could say. It's easy to say on the surface, yeah, Eric Draven comes back to kill people. But you're missing the fact that he's actually kind, even funny. He's a person who loves life. Therein is the tragedy. Got Darla clean so she could at least try to be a good mom to Sarah. Shit, I feel like this guy would join in on the drug use. Even when he went to kill Skank, he gave everybody in the room the opportunity to bail.
I just want him.
Then everyone at that table chooses war and they go down. But he gave him the opportunity. I love characters like that, you know, like Eric Draven, John Wick. Those characters who will be like, you can leave. I'm not here for you. Dude in this movie just massacres folks and doesn't give a fuck. It's less likable and relatable as a protagonist. Like, who were those guys in the opera house, really? Were they high enough to know how shitty their boss was? Or are they just low-level dudes trying to get a paycheck, trying to put food on the table for their kids? And I don't need a movie like this to be a direct translation. The 1994 Crow definitely is not that. But I do feel like that movie maintains the spirit of The Crow. This 2024 Crow movie is just, well, a lot of violence, especially in the last act, a couple of interesting concepts that really didn't go anywhere. So all I see is a movie that drags on, has pacing issues.
I think I've seen The Crow, the first one, maybe one time. And it's not even on theaters because I was like young back then. I think I've seen it on TV.
I don't know their names. They don't.
This one, just listening on how Jeremy describes it, it's not even making me get curious.
I didn't clearly
There you go.
know who he was going after. And I thought the ending of the
Not even curious to check it out.
I don't know what to say. I left the movie theater going, are you setting up for a sequel, or is that actually an ending you feel is fulfilling for this story? The reality of the situation is, do you go to the movie theater to overpay for a movie ticket to watch this new Crow movie, or watch the existing 1994 Crow movie in the comfort of your own home? The answer is simple, it's the latter. This 2024 Crow movie is both baffling and fascinating, by way of being very surface level simple, yet overly complicated at the same time. It gives you the feeling of, I've seen everything in this movie elsewhere. And in those movies, they did it better. You want a better Crow movie? Watch the original Crow movie. You want a better Bloody Vengeance movie? Watch Death Sentence. The Crow has one great movie, and I do profess it is great. Then there are a sequence of bad Crow movies that came after it, and those bad Crow movies have one more to add to their numbers. Couple fun action scenes aside, no one's gonna remember this movie, not in T-minus 1 day. Yep. Already forgot. All right, so the new Crow movie. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what about the old Crow?
Not gonna see it. No interested in even pirating it. Oh my goodness. Imagine a movie so bad that you won't even bother pirating it. There you go, woke writers, but this is not, this is not, these are just writers, not writers pretending to be journalists. Okay, let me refresh. It's the same thing. YouTube is showing me the same thing after even a refresh. What is wrong with you, YouTube? It's the same thing. Crazy. Crazy. Crazy for feeling so lonely. Kotaku drops pathetic, salty review on Black Myth Wukong. Okay, this is 9 minutes. Let's listen. This is my first time seeing this content creator, Akira Rengoku. And next to Akira is Rev. Look at that. So, who has a better looking avatar? Okay, so Akira wins. Ah, look at that. Playback on other websites has been disabled by the video owner. Yeah, okay. And then why are you showing it to me? Why are you showing it to me if you don't want me to watch it? Come on. Make sense, okay? Make freaking sense. I guess Akira is a no-no. There you go, YouTube. Please don't recommend the channel. Because what is the point of YouTube recommending me a channel that I can't even watch the videos? Okay, sure, I could probably use a VPN. Maybe it's country restricted. But for one video? Okay, that's too much work. There are like millions of videos getting uploaded every second in YouTube. This new Starfield feature changes everything. Oh, come on, really? Is this Starfield? It looks more like Star Citizen. Black Myth Wukong sells 10 million copies. Over 1 million novels banned. Help me, help me. I ran Twitter ads to see why advertisers left. 13 days ago. Okay, sounds interesting. Let's see this. Let's see this.
If there's anything that I hate, it's excessive advertisement. But first,
why are you holding your mic?
For sponsoring today's video. Use code TACO for 15% more slot. Check out my merchandise over at taco.shop. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button and also the like button.
Anyway, today...
Okay, so I guess that is supposed to be a funny bit.
Worst of the worst when it comes to internet advertisement is Twitter. After a bunch of major advertisers boycotted the platform, Twitter ads started getting a little bit weirder. Big companies used to advertise here, but now we just get stuff like this. Just a guy in a contraption. Okay, here's an actual ad. Galaxy Gas. Anytime is party time. Now what this is nitrous oxide, which is a drug, but it's okay, because it's not that bad for you. Oh.
Better than another Raid Shadow Legends ad, am I right?
And then you just get these nonsensical ads like this. Trudy told me to have a nice day. Thank you, Trudy. I actually quite appreciate that. That's a nice... Oh my god! 460,000 views? Trudy? How much did you spend on this ad? I find all this to be really hilarious. So I'm going to be running my own Twitter ads to see what it's really like. And who knows, maybe we'll even find out why so many advertisers left Twitter in the first place. Hey, look at that.
I believe this was already debunked.
In the ads that were made.
In fact,
I invited my two friends, Jack and...
the company that spearheaded that was dissolved.
And then we're going to see which ones do the best. So to start, I brought them into a call to show them some examples of Twitter ads so that we could all learn from the pros. Stop sending so many of them. What is this? What? This one, I actually brought out a presentation for this one. Oh! D1 Day 4K, he's advertising his Twitch. It sounds kind of like a toddler. Evidently he's upset, he's shadow banned apparently. I kind of want to see how good this was at advertising him. So maybe, let's take a gander.
What's shadow banned him?
Why would he be shadow banned? Who would be watching?
He probably had one stream, had 0 viewers, and said, "What the f is this? What's going on here?" This is an actual product. You know, elevate your style with their winter knit fringe fur color shawl. But my favorite part about Twitter is the community notes, obviously, because there's one on here that explains what's wrong with this ad. Oh, and this is, right now we're looking at actual advertisements, because there's a lot of promoted tweets that aren't advertisements, so this is actual advertisements. And this is a small artist who's trying to get recognized using Twitter ads.
Okay.
Who got this ad?
Is it the art? It's the artist, I think.
No.
It says ad.
How did you get this ad? Because they're marketed to a certain demographic. Okay.
What is an
It's not an NFT collection where every
that guy is Poop Monkey. Yeah. So we have the Monkey King. Here we have Poop Monkey.
With the 8 poo NFTs, it's a huge deal in the finance community. This one is kind of advertising something. It's advertising a fact more than anything. Cats and dogs like you food every day and night.
There's no Wikipedia.
Like, I was thinking about doing something like that, but I don't think they're doing a challenge. I think they just did that.
Joey over here wants to give his unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion. Today's humans are the softest, fattest, and most easily offended in history.
Wow. He paid to show this to people.
Really?
What is it? What is
his
Twitter? Joey Yoke. What's his Twitter account?
DM
502 men service. What?
Oh, for Sally. So this guy Rich is in a relationship with a Sally doll from Sonic.
I don't think that I can confidently answer any of your questions, dude.
Okay, Mr. Bob.
This is fire!
Oh, that's fine.
What is this?
I'm not getting the video.
Where is he?
Is this some kind of
We then spent roughly 10 minutes debating what this picture was.
Twitter or X roast or X ad roast video or something?
I digress. I think we've seen enough ads by now. Time for us to make our own. You put the text in.
Honestly, I have never seen those ads, and I get ads from McDonald's, ads from an insurance company, ads from McDonald's. I've never seen those ads.
I think you running that might actually work.
Maybe this people are into those kinds of things. Again, what you see in Twitter, it all depends on what you are looking at or engaging with.
Oh, it says 15 hours. I didn't mean to do that.
I can't even search for porn anymore in X. Whenever I search for it, it gets me nothing. It's like X is not X doesn't want to show me idle content for some weird reason.
This is my other one.
What the fuck?
It's like the AI knows this guy is just testing us. He's searching for porn because he thinks that we will show him that. We know he's not really looking for one. He's just trying to test us. The algorithm.
Did you ChatGPT that?
He's not gonna win. We're not going to show him what he's looking for because we know what he wants to see. He wants to see more pro wrestling. He wants to see more space. He wants to see more manga and anime. He wants to see more science. He wants to see more of Elon Musk.
Stop the liberal.
All right, that's enough.
Seriously.
Thank you, Jack and Deemer.
He doesn't want to see WWE.
I'll set the ads to run, and I'm gonna spend $10 on each ad. That's $60 total. But I just got monetized, so I think I'll be able to cover it pretty well. So now, all we have to do is wait, I don't know, a week, and we'll meet back up and see what's... Yeah, that didn't happen. So much time has passed, I became a millionaire, and then lost it all in that whole scandal. My ads finished running long ago, but the other two were having a lot of problems for some reason. I'll get back to that later, but for now, I had a problem of my own to deal with. I've been branded with a checkmark. When you run ads, Twitter says they're gonna verify your account, which I thought just meant like they're gonna like look at it and make sure I'm not a robot. But no, they literally meant they're gonna verify my account. I have like 100 followers. I don't deserve that blue check. But whatever it is, after a full month and a half, we were all finally done and ready to talk about what had happened. Gentlemen and gentlemen, I think Jack actually pointed out that in this picture I have a massive lazy eye, and they said, that filter's fucked up, to which I just said, no, I have a lazy eye. 18,000 views.
What?
15 likes. Which means there was a 0.08% like to view ratio.
Here's the thing with likes. Even if you put up an ad and pay for it, if the ad is unlikable, no one will like it. Come on.
Oh my god.
Because what the algorithm is going to, this is what they should have done. They should have done, instead of the silly ads that they made, they should have just put a cat video. Okay, a cat video, a cute cat video. Seriously, it'll get more views and it will get more likes. A lot of people likes cats.
Here, I'm sure you guys felt the same thing. We've all been branded with the check marks. So I try to cancel it and it says to cancel, contact support. And they leave me on fucking red for 4 days. How do I cancel it? I sent them, this is HTML document that will put
Okay, so I thought the title was interesting. I thought it was going to be interesting, but nah. It's like, when I was back in high school with a group of friends just messing things up, messing around. That's what this video is. I'm pretty sure it's popular with, the target audience. And who is the target audience? Kids. Sadly. At least, it's not a group of, 60-year-old pedophiles targeting kids. Whoa, 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 what's up? Look at that. Don't buy Black Myth Wukong. It's not what you think. Okay, let's go and, you know, check this out. Gamers Unbeaten. Ah, wait. Oh, it's the guy from China Uncensored. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't think he is the authority when it comes to gaming. I'm sure he's going to inject, the politics. You know, it doesn't really matter. The game is not preaching communist propaganda as far from what I've seen in the gameplays. And maybe I've watched like 3 hours. Yeah, I know it's only 3 hours, but still, in those 3 hours, I did not see any Chinese communist propaganda in the game. Also, another weird thing just happened. For some weird reason, um, my Second Life viewer got disconnected from Second Life. This was weird because I don't know what happened. I just got disconnected. My avatar was just standing there, hunting for butterflies because games in Second Life is not what they seem to be. Hold on, I'm just setting up my Second Life character again because I don't know what happened, but I lost. No, 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 no. I still have my HUD. Okay, so I think something happened to Second Life. So I'm looking at chat and they're saying that Second Life just died. It means, I was not the only one who got disconnected. It means the other people the other avatars who are hunting for butterflies also got disconnected. Now I have to wait for my butterfly net to initialize. It takes a minute. I don't know why it takes a minute, but it takes a minute. Okay, let's go back to what we are doing, and that is what is this? Checking out videos here in YouTube. Also, if you are wondering why the words or the title on the thumbnail is like that, it's because I keep getting comments, messages from folks who offer child growth services, whether they are marketers who says they will promote my channel to all their social media platforms, or graphic designers who will make overlays, thumbnails, and everything. So I keep getting offers like that. But the problem is I have no money to pay them, okay? Maybe if the service was free, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's not free. So that's why the title of my thumbnail is, or the words on my thumbnail is that message, because that is an honest message, okay? It's a message to those. So if they see the thumbnail, hopefully they won't have to waste their time typing in a very long introduction saying my channel is very good. That I am a very, very good live streamer, and they can help me grow my channel. So there you go. I am saving them. I'm saving them from writing bullshit, okay? I just don't like people saying bullshit to anyone. I know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. They're just bullshitting someone, and they know it. And I'm just being honest, okay? I'm just being honest. I don't have any money to pay for any of these child growth services. Again, whether it's increasing views by promoting, or increasing views by having better thumbnails and overlays, increasing views with whatever means, or search engine, or keywords, or this and that. Okay, I just don't have money to pay them. Okay, so hopefully it will save them time. Okay, I'm pretty sure time is very important to them. So if they see the title, ooh, okay, so this guy knows the game, okay? He knows the game, so we're just going to waste time posting all this bullshit, and it's not gonna play. There you go. Hopefully that is what's going to happen, you know? Save them time. I'm just saving them time. I don't want to waste their time, because typing a 200 word, comment or post in the comment section will take time. Unless they have a document where they can just, copy and paste and just change the names. Maybe they do. Yeah. Okay, I just thought about it, and I guess maybe they do have such a document. Ooh, a train is coming. Your final warning. Okay, let's take a look at this.
I did a video on this a year ago. I did a video on this back in June. This is your final warning.
Unfortunately, I've tested Opera One, I've tested Brave, I've tested Firefox. What else? I've tested Opera GX.
What is changing in the
Guess what?
What is being limited?
Chrome runs better. I'm just being honest. Chrome, as much as I want to trash or ditch Chrome, unfortunately, it's still the best one, the best browser on my system.
Google does things.
Yeah, unfortunately, I tested the others.
The boil the frog approach, where you make them slowly worse and worse over time until you get to a point where you decide, wait, I'm dying here. I think it's time to leave. And you just go and uninstall the content blocker yourself, and they have won. But because they're doing things slowly, it's really hard for people to coordinate and work on a solution because different people are going to leave at different times, and by the time other people have left, they're probably going to be bored of the situation anyway and moved on to something new. It is basically a perfect strategy. Now, for the features that cannot be ported over to MV3, the uBlock Origin developers have these listed under their FAQ. Filtering capabilities which cannot be ported to MV3. Not all of these are going to be relevant for other plugins, and this is the big thing. From the way that I understand it, for regular extensions like a Bitwarden or Honey or a VPN, most of the changes being made either don't really matter, or in some cases, MV3 actually is an improvement. But for content blockers, a lot of these things either fundamentally change the way they're going to work, or fundamentally limit the amount of things they're actually able to do. And finally, at least some users have begun to notice. It's actually happening. 3 days in a row, Chrome has disabled uBlock Origin, requiring me to go to the actual extension page to re-enable it, with a note saying that it will be removed soon. This is not the only post like this. A lot of other people have been noticing it, so the uBlock Origin project put out this page about Google Chrome's "This extension may no longer be supported." This all began with Google Chrome 127, but not consistently. This is the other thing. You do things as an A/B test. So some users get the warning, other users don't. And you decide, okay, what is the effect of having it on these users? What is the effect of not having it? Can we go and roll it out to everybody? And are we going to have a big pushback from it? UBO, uBlock Origin, is a Manifest v2 extension, hence the warning in your Google Chrome browser. There is no Manifest v3 version of UBO, hence the browser will suggest alternative extensions as a replacement for UBO. Take note of this one here, uBlock Origin Lite. This is an alternative, but it's not the same thing as regular old uBlock Origin. It is by the same developers though. It is a pared-down version of UBO with a best effort at converting filter list used by UBO into a Manifest v3 compliant approach, with a focus on reliability and efficiency. However, this meant having to sacrifice many features beyond those not possible within a Manifest v3 framework. Manifest v2 uBlock Origin will not automatically be replaced by Manifest v3 uBlock Origin Lite. uBlock Origin Lite is too different from uBlock Origin for it to silently replace it. You will have to explicitly make a choice as to which extension should replace uBlock Origin according to your own prerogatives. Now, the nice thing is, even though it's a very small alternative, there is an alternative to Chromium, so uBlock Origin, the full version, the MV2 version, is still going to be developed, just only as a Firefox extension. Now, uBlock Origin is not the only content blocker or ad blocker out there, and different projects are going to be handling the situation very, very differently. When it comes to projects like AdGuard, they originally started a whole separate repo specifically for MV3. As you can see, this one is now archived because what they decided to do is when this goes from prototype to beta to full release, when it has become the full release version, it is going to replace the old version in the store and silently upgrade. Currently though, it has not hit the full release, so there is still a separate beta listing on the Chromium web store. Now, if you're an Adblock Plus user, they also have an MV3 version, and they're a little bit ahead of where AdGuard is, and whilst not technically being a silent upgrade, because it does mention in the changelog that Manifest v3 has been adopted, it is going to be a seamless upgrade. So if you were on the MV2 version and you still have it installed, you're now on the MV3 version and nothing had to be done. You may have noticed a downgrade in the quality of the ad blocking, but you didn't have to do anything to go and get that downgrade. As for Ghostery, they did write blog posts about Manifest v3 and explain some stuff about it and the way they're going to handle it, but with the extension itself, this was another seamless upgrade. In this case though, at least on the page itself, it seems like it was a pretty silent upgrade as well. So they just upgraded it in the background, and now you're on MV3, and now you don't have to think about it. Besides it just being seamless and users don't need to think about it, there is another really big advantage of doing a seamless upgrade. You don't lose your Chromium web store listing. This has 2 million users. If they made a separate listing for an MV3 version, that version, as you saw with the AdGuard one, isn't going to have that many people, and it's going to take quite a bit of time to get up to that same level of listing. Now, when it comes to Privacy Badger from the EFF, they've put a lot of thought into what they were doing. As you may have seen in my prior video, the EFF have really railed on Manifest v3 and don't particularly like what it's doing. So this has been opened since 2019. And basically the way it's going to be handled is on Chrome, on Chromium, there's going to be an MV3 version of Privacy Badger. On Firefox, they're still going to maintain the MV2 version, but they're going to be called the same thing. So if you download Privacy Badger for Chromium, you get the worst version. For Firefox, you get the better version. But there's no like beta, prototype, nothing like this. It just seamlessly upgrades on Chromium, and Firefox users don't need to think about it. And keep in mind, no matter which MV3 option you go with, they're all going to be a bit of a downgrade. Some of them might be downgrades in different areas where they work good on one site and work terribly on another, but then a different one works great on that website and then terribly on other websites. You're gonna have to go and try them out and see which one works the best for what you want to do, and there's no guarantee that over time that's gonna stay true, so you might need to rotate to another one. Basically, if you're gonna use MV3 and you're gonna use content blockers, you're gonna have a lot more additional work to make sure that they work the way you want them to. Again, boil the frog. Now, there is kind of a stopgap solution. Until June of 2025, there is going to be an enterprise policy, extension Manifest v2 availability, which re-enables MV2. Again, 1 year. All you are doing is delaying the problem. After that point, you are going to have to accept it. So what should you do then? Well, the best option is stop using Chromium and instead go and switch to something like Firefox, or one of the few projects that are actually good based on Firefox, things like the Florp browser or LibreWolf. Keep in mind that if something happens to Firefox, it is going to affect these ones as well. So look, at the end of the day, if you're relying on a project that is basically just a light fork of Upstream, there's only so much you can do. But at least for now, Firefox is in a pretty better state. I'm not going to say good state because Mozilla has their own whole set of problems to deal with, but at least regarding MV2 and MV3, things are pretty good. So this was posted back in March of 2024. And they say Firefox has no plans to deprecate MV2 and will continue to support MV2 extensions for the foreseeable future. And even if we reevaluate this decision at some point down the road, we anticipate providing a notice of at least 12 months for developers to adjust accordingly and not feel rushed. I like how they say this as if it's like some big crazy thing. Like, this is what Google did as well. Like, yeah, you should be providing at least some level of warning, or half your extension store is going to be broken. However, I completely understand if you need a Chromium browser in your life. On my system, I do run both Firefox and Chromium-based browsers because sometimes I want to test things in both browsers, and it's very convenient to have there. There are some options you can go with that aren't going to have completely neutered content blocking. The first option is Brave. Brave's whole gimmick, minus the crypto stuff, is the built-in ad blocker. And since the very start, they've been saying, we're gonna have the ad blocker working, and they've been making memes about ad blocking literally a couple of days ago. The ad blocker built into Brave is not at all related to the MV3 stuff. It works through a different system entirely. And your other option is Vivaldi. Way back in 2022, they made a blog post talking about MV3 and all this fun stuff, and talking about their built-in ad blocker, which again is not related to MV3. It works through another system entirely. Now, Microsoft Edge technically kinda has a solution that sorta maybe does it sometimes. In their privacy settings, they have a way to do tracker blocking. And I see some people saying that by going to the strictest setting, that does get rid of some of the ads out there, but that's not the main intention of the function, so I wouldn't rely on that. Do keep in mind that especially for YouTube, they're getting a lot more aggressive in the way they handle ads, and making it a lot harder to actually block them. There is some tests being done with server-side ads where they're being injected directly into the video stream, so dealing with those ones might be quite a bit harder. So don't be surprised no matter which solution you go with if things start to break, especially on sites like YouTube, but other sites that have a lot of money behind them as well. But let me know, what browser do you use? Have you always been using Firefox? Were you on Chromium?
Yeah. Again, just a few days ago, I tested Firefox, Opera, and Chrome, and even Brave. My problem with Brave is with the video. I don't know why, but videos in Brave doesn't play very well. So when it comes to overall, I guess performance, Chrome kind of won. And I'm not saying this is true to everyone or for everyone. Maybe it's just true for my system. I don't know. So the best thing you can do is try all of them, and then try them long enough to get a feel for the browser. Check the task manager, how much RAM they're using, how many processes they're opening. Opera 1 is a beast. Opening an Opera window with nothing on it creates 40 processes. Oh, wow. That was a lot of process. I have no idea what those processes are for. They're just there. And also in my test, Firefox uses more CPU and uses more RAM. Imagine that. Okay, I'm going to watch this because I'm interested in seeing this this truck. It's a truck. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's not a truck, it's a buggy. But here on the thumbnail, we have a truck. Okay, let's see if it's a truck.
What happens when we jump off of this? How does it handle city driving in Neon? What happens when we take it to the lowest gravity moon in the entire game? I bet the Skyrim...
Come on, show me the truck. If you don't show me the truck, I'm going to dislike the video, okay? Show me the truck. Show me the truck.
Into Bethesda's engine, and I can't wait to see how it performs. Not just because of what it means for Starfield, but also because of what it could mean for Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. So shout out to Bethesda for sponsoring this video. Now, before we try reaching escape velocity...
Oh, it's a shield video. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Hey, how did you apply to be a shield? I'd like to be a shield as well. I'd like to be paid.
And the Shattered Space expansion, which is dropping on September 30th. If you haven't already, now's the perfect time to jump in. So be sure to click the link in the description.
Show me the truck.
Join in on the adventure.
I'm pretty sure that was a Star Citizen truck.
Bethesda has been...
Show me the truck. Show me the truck.
This game has
show me the truck. Show me the truck. Where's the truck?
Paint it something.
Where can I see it?
Black vehicle, like always, predictable.
I want to see the truck now.
About to do. Time to take it for a spin. It seems to get great mileage in the city. Traction is solid, and it handles the bumps on the road really well. Cops are not a fan of the vehicle for some reason. Maybe they prefer sedans. Now, before we head to a low-gravity moon, let's try something interesting here. I'm guessing we can't make it up this, but I can't resist trying. Skyrim horse, maybe, but I'm convinced our horse in Skyrim was secretly crazy Uncle Sheo and was not bound by the laws of physics like we mortals are. Here goes nothing. Man, we were actually way closer than I thought we would get. And if you thought I was giving up, you don't know me yet. I need to get up there simply because the vehicle's not supposed to be up there. Will this work? Oh yeah, it's working. Skyrim horse, eat your heart out. We need to jump off of something tall to test fall damage. This should do the trick. I told you not to judge me, Bob. Okay, but how about what this vehicle's actually meant for? Exploring moons and planets.
Nah, just give us the Mac. Come on, give us the Mac. Yeah, all is forgiven if you give us the Mac.
Navigating rough terrain of uninhabited planets, a breeze. Now, let's head to the lowest gravity moon in the entire game. This particular moon is located in the far-off depths of the universe, in the Fermi system on moon IX-E. This moon doesn't have 3 Gs, it doesn't have 0.3 Gs, it has 0.03 Gs. They might expect me to come by land, but will they expect me to come by air? Oh my god. All right. Oh. I think we can safely say they did not expect me to come by air. And now is a great time to mention the onboard blaster that comes equipped with the buggy. Bethesda didn't just add a vehicle, they added a spaceship to this game. I wonder what all my friends in Neon will think of my new vehicle. Excuse me, don't mind me, excuse me, does anyone know where I can get a good burger? But in all seriousness, this Rev 8 handles amazingly. I mean, I'm actually really surprised by how well this vehicle handles the terrains that this game throws at it, because that was my first concern, that every small, medium, or large rock would stop this buggy in its tracks. But Bethesda thought of that, and the vehicle ends up feeling great in any environment that I've tried it in so far. Both in the ones that Bethesda intended for me to try it in, and the ones that they didn't. It definitely helps that calling it a land vehicle is at times like calling a plane a bicycle with wings. And considering that this was added as a free patch and is not part of any paid expansion or anything like that, this is a pretty spectacular addition. This wasn't originally part of their plan for this game, but they heard everybody's requests, and hey, they answered the call. But it's far from the only thing thing they've added since its release. They've also added new Xbox Series S display settings to mirror existing Series X settings. You can frame rate target now and choose between 30, 40, and 60 or uncapped frame rate on your VRR displays. You can now prioritize between visuals and performance while trying to maintain your frame rate target. So of course, prioritizing visuals is going to keep the highest resolution while maintaining full detail for special effects, lighting, and crowds. And then prioritizing performance will lower internal resolutions for those items. You can now also toggle VSync. Choosing off will separate the game's frame rate from the monitor's refresh rate, allowing you to have a potentially higher frame rate, but with the chance of screen tearing. Alternatively, you can turn it on and lock the frame rate to the monitor's refresh rate and prevent screen tearing. Beyond that, Bethesda has added a fantastic new map to the game. Second after the Rev 8, this is my favorite addition to the game because I was one of the people that was walking into town and getting lost every single time. And that lasted just about...
How are you getting lost? It's so small.
Dense and sprawling and multi-layered, and so it was really easy to lose track of where a place was that you had visited before that you were trying to get back to. Now they've got this 3D map, and this is easily one of the best 3D maps I've seen in any game, not just this game. Right, this is a beautiful map. You can hover over the icons, you can see what the locations are.
Yeah, Bethesda Game Studios is getting their money's worth. Good job.
Open your map if you don't want to. You can fast travel to the locations that you've already been. It's now easily one of the best navigation tools I've seen in any game ever. And it feels firmly futuristic, something that would exist in the future when we're traveling to different galaxies. Another new feature that I absolutely love is that you can now customize gameplay options within the game without having to go through add-ons and potentially breaking your achievements and things like that. You can make the game easier or harder by adjusting damage values for your enemies and yourself. And my personal favorite one is that you can increase your carry capacity. The last time I played Fallout, I only used one console command cheat code, and that was to increase my carry capacity. So having this as an option in Starfield saves me from having to use console codes and keeps my achievements flowing. And if that isn't enough, you can also set it so that you can access your cargo hold from anywhere. So my hoarding is about to achieve such great heights. They also added more interior ship design options so that you can customize the interior of the ship and make it feel much more lived in and alive. Another nice thing that they did is they improved the New Game Plus system. So now when you New Game Plus, it gives you the option to respec, so you can try a completely different build on the next playthrough. And for those that felt like there was just a little too much eye contact when you guys were in your dialogue conversations with the NPCs, they've added the ability to turn off the dialogue camera so that you can have more of a roaming camera like some of the other Bethesda games when you are in conversations with these NPCs. And lastly, my return to this game just reminded me how good it looks. I think it looks even better than the last time I played it. I think they've really done some work here on lighting and things like that. It really is a gorgeous game, which has me so excited for the Shattered Space expansion on September 30th. Not only that, if you'll allow me to do a little bit of speculation, Bethesda has a habit of using the things that they add to their games in the future games. So when we saw them add the settlement system into Fallout, they then added that settlement system into Starfield. So you could speculate that this Rev 8 system that they've coded into the game now, right? This could be used for a horse and a buggy in Elder Scrolls 6, or perhaps a boat on the water in Elder Scrolls 6. It could be used for any type of vehicle in Fallout 5. Like, the options are endless, and it's actually a really well done vehicle in this game. A lot of games you get in the vehicle and it just doesn't handle well and just doesn't feel good. This one feels great.
I still haven't seen the truck. All I want to see is the truck.
For example,
just show me the truck.
Trunk that you could store.
Show me the truck.
You're in luck. There's literally already a mod that does that.
Show me the truck. Show me the truck.
I'd love to hear about it.
I want to see. I want to see it. Where's the truck? The truck that is in your thumbnail.
So close. So close.
Use boost. Use boost. 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 My goodness.
How's that for vertical? You just went all the way up that. Right there. Wow. Yeah, I don't think Skyrim Horse could have made that. I think we may have a new king. Thanks so much for watching. click the link in the description to join us in the fun. And if you're diving into Starfield, be sure to check out my Starfield guides. I've got beginner guides as well as a couple of tips and tricks.
Nope. He did not show me the truck. Okay, I was looking for this truck. Yeah, YouTube don't recommend the channel to me because he lied. Amazon panics as Warhammer Cinematic Universe gets cancelled. Okay, so why was it cancelled? Oh my freaking... Fake flight instructor gets student pilot killed. Isn't that murder? Can that be qualified as a homicide? If you are a fake something, and because of you are imitating, you're not the real thing, the real deal. Someone got killed. I think that should be a homicide. Almost heaven, West Virginia. Okay, less than 100 players checking it out.
What if I told you that the wokest game ever made is actually suffering from a lack of playership? There's only about, 80 or so people that are actually willing to put any time into this effort. And what's funny is it comes from a studio and a distributor that are both about as woke as you get. Let's talk about it on That Game Plays. Hi friends, it's me, CC, for That Game Place, and boy do we have a story for you. Loki, what do you think, my friend?
I think this is abysmal. This is what they get for going down this road, and they only have themselves to blame.
They truly do.
Unfortunately, they're not even blaming themselves.
We're talking about today.
They are blaming the gamers for not playing their shitty game.
Because the player numbers on release day were terrible. And look, this game is exactly what you think it is. It's a rhythm-based adventure game that borrows an awful lot from Telltale and really wishes it was something else and made about 20 years ago. But since none of those things are true and justice is coming after you, well, let's look at what Red Thread Games actually did do. That's right, Red Thread Games recently released Dustborn, which has been described as the wokest game ever and has not hit over 100 concurrent players on its release day, nor ever. And we'll look at that in just a moment. But back in July, following the release of the game's trailer, a representative for the game conducted an interview with PSU and confirmed the entire game spawned out of protest against the former president being elected President of the United States in 2016. Loki, are you surprised at all about it?
Not at all.
Yeah?
Not at all. No, this is all they can focus on. This is the only thing this is their only talking point. They keep trying to hammer this home. No, I'm not surprised at all. Not in the least.
Fair enough. Now, if you do get a chance to watch this over at IGN, well, you're just pushing IGN's numbers up, so don't do that. See if you can find it somewhere else. I'm not even going to click play, but a representative was asked, what were some of the inspirations during the early days of making the game? And they responded, for us, it always begins with the characters and the world, followed by the narrative. We generally have an idea of genre, setting, mood, and tone, who the protagonists are, and then we build the game around that. Art direction, game mechanics, engine, specific features, all that follows the world, the story, and most importantly, the characters. That's very different to how some studios operate, but Red Thread is first and foremost a storytelling studio. We tell stories using game mechanics and interactivity, and we do try to do something fresh and different with every game we develop. Well, looking at that, what do you think's new and fresh about this, Loki?
Nothing. It looks like mid 2000s game. It doesn't look like they updated any kind of mechanics. The characters look generic. I don't see how they did anything new, fresh, and exciting.
What are you saying? It's fresh and exciting. Look at that.
They're stand-ins for the modern audience, right? The one that doesn't exist. So
yeah,
they wanted Dustborn to be an
they don't exist.
with Dreamfall chapters, which wasn't very well.
Sad for them. But the problem is everyone is getting affected. All gamers are getting affected because gamers are getting shitty games because these game studios, there are game studios out there that for some weird reason just keeps on making games for the modern audience.
Yeah.
The modern audience that doesn't exist.
With a narrative twist that stays true to our original storytelling heritage, and there's also a bunch of features.
The sooner they realize the modern audience doesn't exist, the faster we'll get more good games in the future.
I've never heard of weaponized words, not in the real world anyway.
Yeah, and that's the problem. None of these people live in the real world or have had to produce anything in the real world, would be my guess, but I could be wrong. And how words have power to change the world. That's right. You got weaponized words to change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how it works.
Yeah. And of course, it was inspired by the election of the former president. I guess everybody had TDS the moment he was elected. So they wanted the story to feel relevant. Well, you failed because, we're 4 years after that. And, the world got much, much worse by your selection. And thematically timely. In no way is this timely. This is 4 years too late or more. Maybe closer to 8 years. Yeah.
8 years, yeah.
Yeah, with a cast of characters that could more accurately represent our player base and the setting, and to hopefully have some positive impact on the world in addition to being an entertaining game. They really didn't know what they wanted this to be. They just sent a freaking cornucopia of, garbledygook language at us, and they really didn't know what this was because it's representing your player base. Loki, you want to see what their player base looks like?
Oh, I'd love to see what their player base looks like, Culture.
All right, as we scroll past all the messaging here and the most woke game ever commentary. Look at that. Who did this? Smash JT? Yep, Smash JT. There it is, Loki. There's their player base.
72 players, 72-hour peak, or 72 peak in 24 hours, and an all-time peak of 72 5 minutes ago. Wow.
Well, now, mind you, this was a screenshot. This isn't 5 minutes ago, but I'm going to show you the maximum peak they ever had. And there we are. Right now, there's 65 people in game playing this at the moment. Great numbers. And it's a $30 game, Loki. It's a $30 game. Are you sure you're not intrigued by this game?
No, I'm on a couple of lists for free games. I get free games from various sites for being a member or whatever. I wouldn't accept this as a free game. I wouldn't claim it. I do that.
I'm going to accept it as a free game. Come on, give me the game. Give me the game. I'm going to play it for maybe 5 minutes and then give it a review in Steam.
I think the all-time peak for this game now has ticked up to 76. But that's it. The average number of players at any given time are the people who made it, 44. And at this very moment, there's 65.
This came out yesterday.
Yeah. Well, in relation to when this video goes up, it'll be 2 days ago. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, as of the time of recording, this was a yesterday, but for the time y'all are seeing it, it's 2 days ago. And like I said, I'm just looking at it. The publisher at Quantic Dream, they're woke. This Red Dead game is very woke. And this is quite possibly the wokest game ever. Loki, I'm going to give you the final word on this one. Do you think that studios, after these types of failures, and one that's coming up for everybody who's watching this now, today, is Concord. Do you think these studios are actually going to learn something from this?
Well, the hope is they would, but the reality is
talk about
they might not learn anything. Again, they might not learn anything.
message or maybe,
but the hope is they would learn something
before they can start fresh, start new.
As soon as they stop, as soon as they realize that the modern audience to whom they're making games for doesn't exist, the faster is we'll get more fun games to play.
When it's just not. Nobody wants to play it. Nobody wants it. No one's buying it. So why keep coming out with it?
And that's a great question. I hope it's a question for all of you. Is this a game you would even be interested in? Is this a game you actually question why the game industry went ahead and made? And are you finally coming to the same realization it seems like we are? We're not going to play any game right off the
Okay, let's scroll down. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Okay, this was like 2 weeks ago. It's not new. Xbox Frontline News, Concord DOA Avowed. Oh, okay. This is interesting. From the Internet Anarchist, the rise and fall and return of YouTube's most hated troll. Okay, let's check this out.
Matan Evan became an internet sensation after he hijacked a speech at the 2022 Game Awards.
I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
That moment went viral and racked up millions of views, but soon after, Matan's popularity took a downhill turn, and his name disappeared from the mainstream media. This left people wondering what on earth happened to the Bill Clinton kid, and why did he fall off so hard? Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be looking into the fascinating rise, fall, and rise again of Matan Evan's online career. Did his controversial actions ruin his career, or has he managed to reinvent himself in an unpredictable way? We'll explore how the Bill Clinton kid got famous and what exactly happened to him afterwards. Although Matan blew up in 2023, his online presence started way earlier than one might expect. Back in 2019, the protests in Hong Kong.
So when I saw the clip, it was crazy.
Authorities introduced harsh bills that compromised democratic freedom, and in response, fierce protests were held against them. People all over social media were showing support for Hong Kong, including a 12-year-old kid named Matan Evan. Matan was a longtime supporter of the cause and wanted to make a special statement for Hong Kong. In October 2019, Matan was caught on screen in an NBA game waving a shirt that said, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong," before the camera quickly panned away from him. Just a few days later, on October 23rd, esports journalist Rod Breslau tweeted about it, and the post blew up, getting over 223,000 likes. However, rumors began spreading that Matan had been kicked out of the game, but these were quickly dispelled in a tweet by Rod that said, "Also, Matan was never kicked out and will be back in their seats next game, but likely never to be put on the Jumbotron again." Rod also suggested Matan should go to BlizzCon, and soon people were hoping to see him protest there too. Now, you might be wondering why. Well, because in the same month of October 2019, Blizzard, the game company, banned esports gamer Blitzchung for a year just because he spoke out in support of the Hong Kong protesters. So the demand was there, and Matan made great show he delivered. Shortly after his appearance on the NBA Jumbotron, Matan tweeted a video on November 3rd, 2019, showing himself at the World of Warcraft panel shouting "Free Hong Kong."
Character we know is infected.
Free Hong Kong!
Alright, thank you.
The tweet read, "I came to BlizzCon 19 to make a point. My point has been proven. I ran up on the Q&A panel and yelled 'Free Hong Kong.' Now remember to keep fighting for basic human rights." Matan's actions quickly drew mainstream media attention, leading to numerous interviews where he explained his strong stance on Hong Kong.
So I had heard about the movement before the Clipper game, and I decided that, I should try to do something, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. So it was kind of just in the moment.
He even appeared on InfoWars twice, where Owen Troyer praised his resilience and confidence.
Man, I'm telling you, there are grown men who don't have the courage to do what you did and step out on that, in front of that panel, and you just seem fearless. Like, there's no qualms. Like, you don't even... It's like you didn't even question it.
Interestingly, Matan was very aware of all the attention he was getting online, so he used it to grow his presence. By January 2020, his channel had 13,000 subscribers, and he was posting daily videos about Hong Kong. Fast forward to 2021, and Matan had around 38,000 subscribers on YouTube. However, it was clear he had stopped posting regularly, and his channel became largely inactive. After months of being silent, Matan posted on Twitter on June 15th, 2021, explaining that he'd stopped posting about Hong Kong because there simply wasn't much to post about it. He also mentioned in the tweet that he would start posting again soon, and fans were eager to see what he'd post next, with commenters stating, "Miss you so much, Matan. Thank you for always supporting Hong Kong and remembering us here," as well as, "Thank you, Matan. Happy to know new updates about you." However, his content after that tweet had nothing to do with Hong Kong. A prime example of this shift took place the following year during the Game Awards on December 8th, 2022. In today's age, videos have become a powerful tool for communication, whether you're sharing ideas, promoting a business, or just expressing yourself creatively. But not everyone has the time.
So, during the time the Game Awards was exposed, the security of the Game Awards was exposed. Imagine if that was like a really bad person
AI video creation tool that's
with a weapon
with
of mass destruction
across more than 150 countries. It's the only AI video creator that's designed to simplify video creation for everyone and acts as your personal sidekick, helping businesses, educators, social media enthusiasts, and aspiring filmmakers. Here's how it works. You start by describing your video idea in a simple text prompt. Video AI then generates a draft video, which you can then refine using text commands. Want to translate the video into Spanish? Or are you looking to add subtitles? Con sus adictivos videos cortos, ha conquistado el mundo. One of InVideo AI's standout features is voice cloning, which could help you narrate videos in different languages without re-recording. For those interested in trying it out, paid plans start at just $20 per month. These plans remove watermarks and provide access to stock footage libraries and advanced features like voice cloning. Check the link in the description and use code InternetAnarchist50 for additional credits in your first month. With that said, let's get back into the video. During this event, as the Elden Ring team accepted their Game of the Year award, a random young guy was hanging around in the background, looking completely out of place.
Supported these titles, and we create the games we want to create and do our best because of you. Thank you so much.
Okay, my OBS got disconnected. Okay, I think it's back. I'm just going to check if it's back. Okay, I'm seeing ads. Ads is that is not the one I want to see. I want to see if the stream is back because I got disconnected. Okay, I'm seeing. Okay, so I just checked and it looks like the stream is back. Ah, No, it's not. Okay, I'm getting drop frames. I wonder what's happening. What is happening? 0 kbps in OBS. Yeah. Okay, so guys, going to end the stream here because I'm not getting any bitrate. It's jumping up and down, zero to normal, zero to normal. So there you go. Let's see. Maybe it's stabilizing. Nope, it's not stabilizing. Okay, so guys, going to end the stream here. I'll just take a break and be back to continue streaming, and hopefully I'll get a much better and stabler internet connection, because out of the blue, I got disconnected. I got disconnected out of the blue. So guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, follow, and all that jazz. And see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.